Welcome to Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye! Oh, for Ada Guam, hear that I come alive. From just Pirate Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeff Pleadwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our startup loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Leaning close, let the real talk run. Ha good nya to man, everybody has one. No whoosh on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it unfiltered. Guam sauce for true seeker, yeah, we deliver. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam Unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo Ada Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to month, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Unfiltered. White ladies breach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gagao and Matapang strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into Hafa Hour Guam.
Only up today, I'm Tony. The countdown. It's a beautiful look. We gonna run this town.
See you there.
It took just 24 hours for us to lose control of the city. Tonight, Gotham's relying on one man to save us all.
happened?
We were outside the outlets when someone tried to...
Under these statutes, you don't have the authority.
Responsible gun ownership is the law. Coming from that appellate.
Now.
Before they realize what we know.
I understand the...
Time to go.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And each story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
Everybody, welcome to the Hafa Hour here at Just Pirates Cove in beautiful Ipan Telefofo, Tocha, Guam. Now, this is episode 35, season 2. We got some great guests for you tonight. It's March 22nd, 2026. We got Maria here with us, and Charlie, and the Doc, and Amber Bach, and the boys are over there waiting. We got a great show lined up. So first, Amber Bach wants to tell you what's available in the gift shop.
We have Don Farrell's books, we have The Liberation, Guam, A Brief History, and CDs and Superforts.
Now, all of these, we got a few of that CBs and Superforts left, so you better come down soon. We still have plenty of Liberation and The Brief History of Guam. And I told you Don is having a few medical issues and won't be here for the Hiroshima team this year, but he still would like you to buy his book, and he'll bring some more if we run out. Hats.
We have our trucker hats. We have these in different colors. And we also have this hat with the neck flap in the back.
Embroidered. No, that was good. See, it's on the back there. There's a, what's that?
This is for the ladies. A wrap for the beach.
Or the guys.
That's like a
Or
sarong.
this too.
And we say if you don't have enough of these, there's something wrong with you. And we have this in like lava, 5 different colors, right?
Yes.
And lava.
And we have one of our new designs, the Guam sign pose. We have that in t-shirts, long sleeves, and also kid sizes. And then we just restocked on the Guamwa and Guampa shirts.
This is a fast-selling shirt, right? Yeah, we just got a new shipment in, and we have that in adult and children. Guamma and Guampa. Everybody needs one of those. And this is the THAAD, the Thermal High Altitude Air Defense System t-shirt that Guy made for all the THAAD people out here.
And we also have it in hoodies.
Look at that, a hoodie. Does this have a zipper or it's
No,
just,
this
yeah.
one is just-
So if you're in the cold, write to me and we'll send one to you. Reese is gonna be getting one of those. Also,
Our Mo Gold Honey.
now,
How appropriate.
the delicious, beautiful Mogold honey was harvested yesterday. How many did we get, Chris? 8 gallons? About 8 gallons. Now, this is the best honey you're ever gonna try. It's good for your immune system, and it helps you with allergies. If you just moved to Guam, you should eat honey from Guam, and that'll help you through a lot of your
And
hay
the-
fever or whatever.
During this time of uncertainty, a great investment vehicle. I believe it's hitting a new high this morning at $4,300. Gold, is that 4,300?
And then we have our hot sauces. We have 6 different flavors available.
Some are on sale, right?
Yes, 50% off.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So
Amber.
like, follow, share, tell them.
Like, follow, subscribe on YouTube, JPC Guam.
Thank you very much, Amber.
Thanks, Amber.
Chris, Myla Fanguini.
Let's go right there.
Come right here. We got Chris Rosario, the famous bee guy here today. Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Guam. I've got my bachelor's degree in biology, and then my master's in environmental bio and focus in entomology. And that kind of paved my way into my career dealing with honeybees. And so, gosh, I don't know what else to say other than, I'm so glad to be here and to be continuing to help the people of Guam fill the demand of honey and of course battling invasive species on Guam.
So where did you go to school?
I went to school here at the University of Guam. Yeah, got both my bachelor's and my master's degree. So, yeah.
And right now, what's your position?
So my position here is I sit as the state entomologist for Guam at the Guam Department of Agriculture, and we have several grants that stem from killing hornets, eradicating hornets around Guam, eradicating little fire ants on Guam, battling coconut rhinoceros beetle, and I do also serve as the vice president of the Guam Beekeepers Association, and this association, has about over 100 members that have joined from the past, and currently we have 65 to 70 active members. So, yeah, it's a great association. Yeah.
Tell us about the killer hornet.
Yeah, so the greater banded hornet is, so the name is greater banded hornet, and it is also the scientific name Vespa tropica, It's it's one of the 23 species of Vespa in the genus Vespa and this particular hornet lives particularly in the tropics, in the coastal regions of Southeast Asia, and it has not been known to predate on honeybees. There has been some articles here and there, but since they arrived on Guam, they have been a voracious predator for honeybees on Guam. So it's been a big problem for our beekeepers to keep up with killing hornets at the front of their hives, and then so we have several projects that involved tagging the hornets and following it back to its hive. We've actually done some pretty good work here at Jeff's to track the hornets. And yeah, we've had quite a bit of some successes figuring out where the hornets are hanging out, but no successes yet in actually finding the hive. Another thing that we're doing for one of our hornet projects is to extract the nest of the hornet and to find out what the hornets are eating here on Guam, because we know that these hornets are predating on honeybees, but we also have some native species on Guam that we want to find out more about if the hornet is affecting our native local fauna here. And so that project is underway. We have uncovered that they are eating many wasp species here on Guam. Guam has no other native wasps, but that's kind of expected, because most of our wasps that we have on Guam come from Southeast Asia. So because it's more of a regional, it's a regional dietary preference that the hornets go after.
So Chris, I think everybody really wants to know, what are boonie bees?
Ah, yes. Boonie bees are actually paper wasps. They're not bees, and they are typically, so the species of boonie bees, or the paper wasps that we have on Guam, are Polistes, and again, most of them are situated in they're originated from Southeast Asia, but they only live in nests in colonies of about 12 individuals.
Their nests are like this big, and they're papery, right?
That's right.
They're flat.
Papery, yeah.
Unlike a big hive, they're just kind of flat.
That's
Sting
right.
you?
They do sting, and they can sting multiple times. So why do we call them boonie bees? Well, because whenever you go out in the boonies, go booning, stomping, you're likely to run into their nest.
So is that a local dub? We locally dub them boonie
Yeah,
bees?
we locally dub them as boonie bees, correct, yeah.
If you're a kid running around in the boonies, most likely you're going to get stung by them.
That's right, yeah. And it's, a shrub in your backyard, a shrub in your front yard. That's the awning, under your awnings, sometimes the guardrails, or your fence. Your fence will also have those small little boonie bee nests. And again, it's like 2 or 3 individuals. Sometimes the biggest you could see is probably about 12 individuals. So that's one type of boonie bee or one type of paper wasp that we have. The other type of paper wasp we mistaken them as yellow jackets.
Yeah.
And those guys live in colonies of about over 100 individuals.
They're big.
And they do get pretty massive. But they are bigger in size. They do give a powerful sting. Those paper wasps are the dietary preference for greater banded hornet, which is why we think that on Guam, why they survive so well on Guam, is because the food is readily available for them.
And one of the questions, and I'm sure Doc could probably answer this, but what is the best remedy if you get stung by a bee?
Yeah.
Sorry, Doc.
Yeah. So yeah, people have thrown so many bizarre things out there for remedies. Obviously, the famous one was peeing on your sting, and the fact that
That's
is
what
not.
Fernando told me to do. It's not.
It's not
Fernando.
preference. And the reason being is because you have a sting, right? And it's now considered a small
So, of
open
course,
wound.
pee on it.
So you pee on it, you're likely going to get a potential infection. And so, but all they say that the reason they say is you pee on it, or you put vinegar, or you put baking soda and water. It's because you're just neutralizing the acid. You're just basically taking away the acid pain from the sting. That's really all it is. So simple soap and water can do the work too as well. And of course it helps clean the site, but it generally does not take away the venom or anything. It just alleviates a bit of the pain that the stinger gives, or the venom from the stinger.
That's what causes the. And then obviously the other one is, Doc, this is probably your realm, is the shock. Like, what is it?
Anaphylactic shock. Yeah. So anaphylactic shock is, again, it's the body's overreaction to the venom. So whenever we get stung, right, it introduces now a foreign body, a chemical that causes our body to react. And so if our body overreacts, the histamine in our body shoots up, and generally the first thing that happens during anaphylactic shock is that your lymph nodes swell up, which causes your throat to swell up, which then you can't breathe, and then those chain of reactions occur. Yeah.
So get yourself some medical care if those kind of things are happening after a bee sting. Nothing to fool around. And there's people that do need to carry epinephrine pens because they've been stung before. It's usually not the first sting that's going to get you into anaphylactic shock, although you might notice that you're getting some of those symptoms, but then they go away. But if you get stung a second or third time and you're prone to it, it can be a medical emergency.
Yeah.
So it is a medical emergency.
That's
The
right.
honeybees, how did they originally come to Guam?
Yeah, this is a beautiful story. So in 1907, during that time, we were occupied by the naval government, and the naval government of Guam felt that, hey, it's a tropical island. It's lots of flowers, lots of botanical flowers were being brought in during that time frame, and they wanted to bring the bees. So they brought the bees in from Hawaii, and there's a book. There's a book that was written by Eva Crane. It's World Beekeeping and Honey Hunting, and she mentioned that in 1907, the naval government brought them into Guam for the purpose of honey production, and then of course with all of these other plants coming in, all these botanical flowers coming in, they were potentially nectar producing flowers, and so one of it, which we know of, is the famous chain of love. And if you drive along Ipan, you're going to see all of that chain of love on the side of the road, and so that was actually brought in on purpose as well as a potential botanical flower, and a nectar producing plant. We now today know it as very, very invasive, and so. But along with all these plants, the bees came in, and it was essentially one queen that was brought in, and along with the several, about 20, 30 years later, there was still some importation of bees, still undocumented, a lot of anecdotal reports of people bringing in bees from ships, but generally it did start with the naval government bringing the bees into Guam, and then we had some folks, some agricultural folks, one of them known as Peter Nelson, where if you know of the native plant Cerianthus nelsonii, that mother plant. That was actually named after his family. So Peter Nelson, who was an agriculturalist at the time, in around the 1913s, he worked around the research stations, the agriculture research stations on Guam, and talked about how the bees had so much potential for growth here on Guam as a potential bee industry. Because at some point they wanted the native Chamorros to be able to adopt this new way of farming for potential honey production. And yeah, that was well over 100 years ago.
So Chris, I think we're going to have to take the gloves off now. You know, you're the territorial epidemiologist during this entomologist.
That's okay.
During this time of war, and I mean, since you were a little entomologist, you've had to experience your island be invaded by the coconut rhino beetle, the coqui frog, which I know is not an insect, but he eats insects. These spiders that they find down at the port, which they claim the port doesn't have any methamphetamines, but it has apparently a lot of black widow spiders. And numerous other insects, and then potentially, which we're all terrified about, is parasites to the honeybee, right? So we keep hearing that the world is suffering a pandemic of some parasite that's killing honeybees, and the farmers are terrified because it could wipe out food production. Yeah. Can you speak to, is this your fault?
Oh.
Are you
it all started with you, Chris.
Well, no, and actually, thanks for the clarifying on that, because so Guam is part of the Apiary Inspectors of America, which is a nationwide organization that tackles honeybee health and diseases all across the U.S. And as we know of right now today, that the U.S. every year is losing about 50% of their beehive. So the U.S. has over millions, over 1 million beehives, and we're losing well over 50% of that because, one, winter periods, two, varroa mite, which is a parasite that is a vector for 11 different types of diseases that the honeybees can get. And lastly, pesticides. Those three things, all in combination, really are the biggest attributes to what we call colony collapse disorder.
My understanding, Chris, is that the health of a colony is really dependent on the strength of its queen. That the queen releases pheromones that communicate danger and apparently even, what each worker is supposed to do, right? You have the queen bee, and then you have the worker bees, and the worker bees each have different responsibilities.
Correct.
Some of them are guards, some of them are nurses, some of them are cleaners. Well, and so I feel like I'm like one of those undertaker bees, the one that gets rid of the vectors, right? I'm supposed to identify sickness, and when I can't cure it, I need to lock it down or throw it out of the hive. Otherwise, the rest of the hive is in danger, right?
Yeah, and the beauty of the beehive actually is, even if a member of the colony is sick, it will leave the colony and not come back. Because as an altruistic behavior in a colonial setting, is that, if you say your sister or your brother and sister say, they don't want to.
Yeah, could you not use the word colony? I mean, we're trying to be sensitive. I think the hive or the hive, the community, the familia,
the community,
but not colony. I know you guys use colony. I don't know why you use colony.
Does that offend you?
Sorry, folks.
Are you an activist?
Chris is kind of new to media. Sorry. So no colony, right? We're not colonial here. Please continue.
Yeah, the family members, the members in the members in the hive itself will identify. So if it's sick, generally it would leave and it would not come back, and that's just an altruistic behavior that the honeybees have developed over time.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's amazing.
And from where I stand, I'm going to ask about the industry.
Yeah.
What do you mean? why are you laughing?
You're gonna turn this into you. I know it.
No, this is not.
Yeah.
I'm
Go
okay
ahead.
because-
Shameless
Come on,
plug.
I got a lot of
Shameless plug.
questions.
Yeah, we
Come
all
on.
got. For the bee guy.
So from an industry standpoint, what is it going to take for it to really grow here locally? I mean, because the honey, for those who understand how it's made and the purity, and they say it's pure gold.
Yep.
The honey that we're making here on Guam. So
It's
why-
right there.
Why? You see, I'm plugging.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
I
thought you were
making
metaphor-
fun of me
I
about
know-
this at stand.
No, I thought you metaphorical.
Yeah, what is it that we would need for it to really take off, or what are the roadblocks from that you see? Is it funding? Is it the government that's not allowing us to be able to push forward with this industry?
Yes.
Dude,
it's a
What
good
do you mean?
No, it's okay.
So that's actually a very, very complex question, and I think one of the big roadblocks that we generally have on Guam is that, one, we're too small, two, we're very geographically isolated, or disadvantaged, because a lot of the equipment that's needed to build the industry is not in reach to us, and it costs it costs a lot of money to bring in
How much?
all of these materials.
Let's just say today we were able to grant you your wish, then we were going to set it up so that we could create. Because what the hell is Melaleuca honey?
Yeah, well, it's a Melaleuca plant that the bees go after.
Yeah, it sounds like
And then,
marketing.
It's
So
expensive stuff.
It's the thing.
But if we could market our coconuts as being the best source of nectar, and it was medicinal, and everybody in Guam, in the world wanted it because our bees are pure; they don't have the mites.
Yeah.
So how much money would you need? Let's just do a real quick feasibility study, right? And then Gita, you're listening, right?
Yeah.
How much do you want?
I don't know if it
We'll
boils
come to
down.
you.
Everything does boil down to money, but I think it's not just money per se, but it's also the amount of work that's involved. To take 8 gallons of honey out of these bee colonies, it's not just us. I'm not talking about the labor work for us. It's the labor work for the bees, and so it takes time. It's a gradual. So honey production on Guam is gradual. It's not like in the U.S. where the bees are preparing for winter, and all of a sudden the honey production shoots up because they're trying to pack all this honey in a span of a month. But on Guam, because we don't have that winter period, we don't experience the bees to be working that full amount of time.
Our bees are lazy.
They're you're on an island, right?
They have an island time.
There's nothing to really prepare for.
But at the same time as you say that, winter in some places like Minnesota is 6 months long.
That's right.
And the bees really only have a very compressed time to forage, which is it's probably about 2.5 to 3 months, right?
Right.
So they may be very productive, just like they're in the States. But trust me, the people during the winter, they're lazy. They're hibernating. And things shut down. So there's this idea that they're really efficient for a certain period of time. But that's like in Europe, where they only work 3 days and they take 4 days off. It's the balance is that we live in a place where we're blessed with flowers pretty much all year long.
Agreed.
But I'm not going to let you off the hook.
Yeah.
It does cost money.
Yeah.
Right? So you talked about equipment. You talked about labor, both human labor and bee labor. So what is it going to take? This is what I want to. I want to get to the point from an expert to say what is it going to take, and then it's going to be out there.
Yeah.
And then it's for us to be able to act on it and say, why are we not doing it?
Right.
So what is it going to take?
It's also part of the regulations that we need to cover.
The government.
So yes, the government, and this is why I sit in the capacity where I am at, is because we don't want to be bringing in bees from all over the world, because we can bring in disease. That's one. Two, we want to be able to develop programs where the farmer can have bees in their backyard without having some pushback. Right now, there's no regulations whether you can have bees in your backyard or not. And two, it's the incentivization of some of these farmers that have beehives in their farms. There's no incentivizations right now.
And what would that incentive look like?
Well, it could be something as simple as, okay, you have a pollinator friendly garden, a pollinating a farm where you have 5-6 beehives in your farm, and we can incentivize whether for equipment or not just equipment, but also like the training that you need to keep bees. A training program out of the university is also something that would be meant for Guam in the tropics, because a lot of beekeepers here on Guam are taking trainings out in the U.S. But the practice of beekeeping in the U.S. is very different from on Guam. So it's really that kickstart of getting the training, and then again incentivizing the farmers, or perhaps a beekeeper like Jeff could say, okay, well, can get with the farmer and say, I have 4 beehives that I'd like to donate to your farm. What are the incentives?
Yeah.
What are some of the values, or the trade values that can come out of that?
And then I think that's where the incentive word has been convoluted, because the point that I'm trying to make is because I've had really good conversation with farmers, and they don't want money from the government. They want incentives. And when we think about incentives, we think about, we just want to give. No. They want training.
Yeah.
They want help bringing in equipment.
Yeah.
These are the incentives it's been convoluted. So, and I think that if this is something that you need, I think we need to put it out there. And then we can mark the date today and say, has anybody reached out to you from the government? Has anybody come out to you and say, how can we help?
I would love to go one day to Charlie's place, or even to come over to Pirate Cove and have coffee regularly where the honey is from Guam. And I guess Jeff's is the place where they do that, because you can only probably get Jeff's honey regularly here unless Charlie starts using it. But like you said, 8 gallons, right? And the lifespan of a forager honeybee is probably about 30 days. How long does it take to get enough honey to get 8 gallons out? 6 months?
Oh, so that takes a while. I mean,
4 months, 6 months?
I'd say between 4 to 6 months.
So you only have 2 harvests.
Properly.
But again, we have to live within and in Hawaii they made Kona coffee be a thing. They made macadamia nuts be a thing. It's a premium product, and we should celebrate it by making mead. Yeah. You can make honey beer, honey wine, things that I think the tourists would go. It's the only place you can get it is at Charlie's place. And you can get it reliably, and it's sourced from here.
Right.
Or, so again, there's work, but there's profit. And I think this is where the government really plays a role, is trying to nurture something that has the ancillary benefit of flowers. I mean, the bees produce or help to propagate beautiful flowers.
Right.
The thing that is difficult is the queen bee, okay? Can you bring queen bees into Guam?
So you can't bring in queen bees into Guam. Well, federally you cannot.
Cannot.
Yeah.
Why is that?
And so we follow a federal regulation. It's literally called the Honeybee Act. And the Honeybee Act is you cannot bring anything from a foreign country, bees in particular. You cannot bring into the United States, because we are a territory of the United States, so we fall under that federal regulation. But there, and it's only because, one, we don't have the disease. We could bring in, if we bring in queen bees into Guam, there's a potential of bringing in a diseased queen bee. How can you test that? Well, you got to do genetic testing of the queen bee, and that takes a good amount of resources and a lot of research to do. So we generally don't want to tap into that realm to try to bring in queen bees.
So where do you recruit the queen bees from?
We recruit them from the environment. Now, how readily it's available in the environment depends on the year. How good of a year does Guam have? If there is more dry season, there's more chances of swarms happening. If there's more rain, probably less chance. So those are some other environmental factors that come into play.
So when you want a queen bee, you go out and look for a swarm, right?
Yeah.
That's the best way to get it. And then bring it to your hive and try to indoctrinate it into taking a place there, right?
Right.
Now, how long does a queen bee live?
Yeah, so a queen
Years.
bee can live
Several
for
years.
up to about 5 years.
5 years.
She can stay fertile. She can stay fertile for between 3 to 4 years. But yeah, that's generally the time frame. By your 3rd or 4th year, you may want to take the queen out of your hive and allow your bees to requeen.
How do they do that?
Yeah, that's another fascinating thing to explain. So you take a queen out of the beehive, those eggs and larvae that the queen have left behind, the worker bees will start to produce a steroid, and that steroid is then mixed in with the honey and the pollen, and you get what we call royal jelly.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the royal jelly is then fed to multiple larvae, and then those larvae will then grow. Instead of growing into a worker bee, it'll actually develop into a queen bee.
They have 3-year terms.
No, he said 5. 4. Yeah, he
years.
wants to go political.
No,
Don't worry, folks. When Fernando comes back, we will. But we're trying to keep this a family show. And so, yes, you're learning a lot. You're learning a lot. And yes, it's very similar to human beings because they're also democratic because every single worker bee, every single worker can become a queen. It's just a matter of that person being able to, I guess, evolve.
In fact, once a larva develops into a worker bee, it stays as a worker bee for the rest of its life.
Unless
it's the larva. Yeah. So the larva is
okay,
the one that's
don't ruin my
fed.
comparison.
Yeah.
The point is, every single entity which will eventually be a worker bee could have instead become a queen. It's democratic. There's still the possibility, and so you're simply saying it. They have to start early, and they have to be. Let's give it up, right? They have to be able to competently lead that hive.
Well, and it's not just, and the thing is,
People
think that the queen is the one that really dictates the hive. In fact, it's actually the colony, the workers as a whole that dictate the hive. Why? Because if the queen is not performing well, meaning if she's not pumping out, all of these eggs, and she will get kicked out of the hive. She will actually, the worker bees will ball the queen and kill her. Or kick her out.
It's like piracy.
They'll perform, there's a coup, they'll basically kick her out.
Yeah, they'll kick her out or they'll kill her.
They maroon her.
Or just ask her to go on trips to Taiwan for no good reason. So again, we see a lot of the fascinating things about bees is they seem to give up a lot in order for the collective good, right?
That's right.
The workers can't reproduce; they just have to work. But they apparently take pride in their work, and for a very short period of time, they get to fly around and do stuff and forage. But then they get exhausted, and then they die.
Pretty much.
And they're replaced by others. But
or if they sting
it's work ethic. They have a work ethic that speaks to the good of, we want to say colony, but it's a bad word, the community.
That's right. Yeah.
So did you hear that, Doc?
I
If
just
they
said it.
sting somebody,
they sting someone,
they
actually die.
Yeah.
So when you get stung, you get a little stinger, you got to pull that out.
Yep.
But that bee is finidini.
But they do take pride in their work.
Can we talk about procurement though, right? So the hive needs things in order to thrive, right?
Yes.
We talked about pollen, but it also needs beeswax. It needs the resin.
Yeah.
So all these things, does it go through a procurement process where some lawyer in the Attorney General's office can hold it up?
No, it does. It actually does not. It's plain and simple. The bees go out, they get plant resin, but they also produce wax. So all insects produce wax. Think of mealybugs, right? That white
wax in my head right now.
And so, but it takes a large amount of honey for them to produce that wax.
It's energy intensive.
It's energy intensive.
Like AI.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to bring bees and humans. They're birds and the bees, right?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, certainly. We can relate a lot to it, but it does take a lot of resources to build that wax. And then once that wax is then built up, they need to take all of that honey and nectar that they're bringing in and then store it from there. But that takes 6 to 8 months.
Energy and time. Okay, finally, because a lot of I guess entomologists are also philosophers, and they talk about the democracy of bees. There's this famous book, you probably haven't read it, but it's a great book. Have you read it?
I probably might have heard of. I think
Anyway,
I know what book you're talking
but
about.
apparently bees do not just for the common good, but they also make changes for the common good. It's like at some point they're going to decide, okay, we're leaving and we're going to go swarm, and then even while they're sitting up in the tree waiting to determine, there's this whole process where they're trying to find out where to go, and the bees do a dance and yada yada yada, right? So all of this involves, people having to respect the opinion of others, the experts, and then for the collective good, they make this big decision to go.
That is right.
And so that's called an election, right? And so it looks like what are you guys like?
Yeah, I get it.
The role of pheromones and licking.
Oh, yeah.
So it seems like in bee behavior, licking is a vote.
Maybe. I mean, it's not just licking, but also, they have their antennae. But I like how you touched into the pheromone aspect.
Thank you.
Pheromones are a big driver of how again,
hive is managed.
Hive insects, insects that live in communities.
Right.
How they benefit, how they behave,
Yes.
it's all driven by pheromones. So even if the queen is not giving enough pheromone, the bees will not perform that well. And then the colony will see, well, this is not working out for us, we kick out the queen. The same thing is the brood, the larva, the pupa. They have a certain amount of pheromones that attract the bees to wanting to take care of the larva.
Oh.
It's all via pheromones.
And correct me if I'm wrong, one of the jobs of the queen is to produce a lot of pheromones that kind of mark each member as a member of that hive.
Of that particular
So they have to
colony,
have her smell. And if they don't have that smell when they come into the hive, they might get beaten up. They might get eaten.
Oh yeah,
they might get killed, right?
Kicked out.
But even if they go far away, for example, to California, to San Diego, for medical purposes, they're still a member of that hive. And so when they come back, they probably could, if they had blockchain, they could vote for the queen, right? Why are you guys laughing?
Yeah.
This is real. The
Yeah.
bees communicate.
Yeah, it's all via communications.
And it's not about bureaucracy. It's not about politics. It's about survival.
Pretty much.
And the good
survival
of
colony.
the family, the
Yeah.
good of the community, the good of the clan.
And here's a more bizarre aspect with honeybees, is that the queen will produce a male and a female. Majority of those that are in the nest in the hive are females.
Oh no,
The
you're gonna go there.
I'm sorry, I have to go there because
Maria.
because the females are the workers.
Are you
The
guys related?
females are the ones that they produce the pheromones, they do the foraging, they do the stinging, they do the hive cleaning. The males, hold on, because the males actually have a even bigger role, and I'll tell you. So although the males don't do anything in the hive, they don't do anything other than mating with the queen.
That's important.
Now, that is an important piece of the puzzle, because when we start talking about how bee colonies perform well in honey production, in aggressiveness,
Yes.
or in it's all dictated from when the male gives off the genetic information, gives off his sperm to the queen, and now that queen contains all of that genetic information that makes the colony maybe a honey producing colony, or a colony that is very what's it called?
Roberts?
Is resilient, a colony that's resilient in the tropics, a colony that can potentially fight off varroa mites, a colony that is more resilient to pesticides. So although the females do all the work and everything, the males carry on that next generation of bees that basically dictate how bees are
Survive, evolve.
surviving. Yeah, survive
So
and
they're
evolve.
like
in
software
today's world.
engineers. They're like IT people.
But it sounds like
Yeah.
bees are more like in terms of, it's more genetics driven, which is not.
No, there's a lot of environment. There's a lot of research to show
There is
that
a lot. There is a lot of environment. Yes.
So no.
But
they're not
nature
that
and nurture,
simple.
you got to have both of them. You
Yes.
can't have one over
Sorry.
the other. It's definitely both. But I do like how you tapped into it's both at the environmental level. It does, those are usually acute. They're immediate consequences. But in the long term, in the long run, it really comes down to the genetic level.
And lastly, from an economic standpoint, what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
I know.
No, what would impact the price of the honey? I mean, like we're going through issues right now. I mean, we put them in glass jars, which is great. What are some of the economic impacts that would make the price go up or down? And the reason why I'm saying is because in order for us to be able to develop the industry, we got to make sure that we have enough
That's
labor, and all those costs in line to be competitive, right?
Certainly, and the technology today should help us with how to better care for bee colonies. But really, today it's really about caring for the health of the colony. It's caring the health of the beehive. Right now,
with the fuel prices going up, is that going to impact the cost of honey?
The cost of honey, well, the fuel prices, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
They
And
don't drive cars.
locally,
I'm just saying, but I mean,
locally it should not.
Okay.
But in terms of, because remember, Guam, we import 95% of our food imports.
Right.
So,
But we shouldn't be importing any honey. We should only be
we
eating
shouldn't
local
be.
honey.
We shouldn't be, but
We cannot fill the demand.
Well,
That's right.
But
I was
so
about
that's what
to
this
say.
conversation about. I thought.
but can we, Jeff?
Can we?
Well, it would take a lot.
Collectively.
Because
Yes.
when I started, I had 12 hives. And now I'm down to 7. And they were lost over different, weather conditions.
Mawar. We have Mawar.
Yeah, it was like Mawar and stuff like that. So
Yeah, the hornet problems here.
many factors involved. And as far as trying to figure out a price for my honey, where's my honey? Like right now, I'm selling this 4 ounce of Mo Gold
4 ounces.
for $10.
Yeah, it's a great price.
This should cost, like you said,
$500.
it should. Because if you look, not 500, but quite a bit more, but if you look at what I have invested over the 2 years or 3 years I've been doing this, it's over $15,000 in cost, right? Plus, I have 2 guys working on it. I feed him all the time and take care of him.
And you even get his
you know?
grandpa in? Was
I
that
give
your
him
grandpa?
whatever he wants, because he's my brain, right? But it's all. I'm telling you, it's a work of love, and it's something about. With me, it's like figuring that this could last 4,000 years.
That's the thing. And how much refrigeration do you have to put into
No
it?
refrigeration.
What kind of pasteurization do you need?
Nothing.
What about additives and
It's
preservatives?
pure.
What about
This is-
coloring?
If you get honey from the States or China, I'll guarantee you it's
Yes.
not pure.
You can see it.
There's additives.
Yes.
No, and so the thing is, this is pure gold. This is, and it's from our island, and theoretically, this is the way we should be going with our fish, with our bananas, with as much as we can do to be self-sustaining. And I love he keeps coming back to the economics, and I keep waiting for the metaphor to our government of Guam. But we'll do that when Fernando's on board. But I think for the purpose of this particular conversation, it really is about how the bees focus on service, how they focus on the mission, how they accomplish things for the greater good.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I agree. And that's really what it comes down to. And that's something that I take with my job is that, the bees can certainly do this. The reward in the very end is honey, right? So in the very end for us, it's it's just the same concept is that you put in all that amount of work to build up those resources to have the colony or the community in your hive to survive.
So I can see why entomologists wind up being so philosophical. But at the end of it, right? It is the insect. The insect world is teaching us something because each pupae, each baby bee, could be a queen or a worker. And then some would argue that the workers are even more important, right? So we're calling all you workers to come down and vote for your next queen or king, whoever it is that's going to lead our colony, our hive, our community to greatness. And in our next segment, we're going to talk about how you can do that, because not enough of you did it last time. Many people signed up, but they didn't show up. And so we're going to talk about the challenges of being a good worker bee, electing a new queen bee in 2026.
But your analogy wasn't actually factually correct, because genetics has a lot to do with it.
And you're genetically capable, the minute you're born, to be the next governor of Guam. I mean, you're genetically capable to be the person that, do something important. Don't ruin my narrative. And Chris, you're going to stay here, and we're going to talk together, and you can comment as an entomologist. But if we could introduce our next guest, Miss Marie, we've known you for a very long time. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where did you go to school, and who was your favorite teacher in elementary, and then talk about what you're doing now?
First, let's introduce her. This is Marie Pangelinan, and she's a great friend of ours, and she is, what is your position at the Election Commission?
Executive Director.
The Executive Director of the election.
Yes, so half a day. I'm from just up the street. I'm from Windward Hills. I went to Notre Dame, graduated 51 years ago. Attended
51.
Yes, sir.
Man, you're younger than me.
We took that survey earlier. So went to school in America for a little bit, came back, was at the university for a little bit, actually for a long time, legislature a little bit, and I've been at the Guam Election Commission for 15 years.
Good for
You're
Guam.
doing a great job, too.
But I do have about 16 folks that back me up very, very well. And they're young. Most of them are young. So that makes up for this BHA.
Hey.
Yeah.
So there's an election coming up. How's things going? And what advice do you have to the people of Guam?
Hurry up.
Hurry
and
up.
Come out to vote.
How's registration looking?
Registration is picking up. In 2024, we had over 60,000 folks registered. But of those people that registered, only 49%.
That was the lowest turnout.
And this is the problem with Guam.
Ever.
Hungan.
And Maria said earlier, up in the CMI, how many people vote up there?
70 big percent.
70% of the people up in Saipan and the Northern Marianas go out and vote.
And
because they're interested. They want to change things.
Guam used to be that excited about.
Yes, and Doc says, Jeff says, Fernando says, Chris says, and this Chris says too, that we run a good election. If we run such a good election, how come they don't come out to vote?
Well, Jeff does a really good job with his buffet sometimes, but then people don't show up because it's raining people find their own excuses. What I think they need to know is it's their duty to vote, that this island gets better if they show up and participate in the process. And clearly they intended to do it when they registered, because that's a process in of itself.
But one thing I had very interesting, I've known this person for a while, and I just automatically assumed they voted. Conversation came up, and they said, no, I don't vote. And I was shocked. And I said, what do you, I said, I never asked you, maybe because I just thought you automatically voted. And he said, no. And he said, we haven't voted because we haven't really found anybody that we want to put our vote on. And I said, but nobody will never know.
Yeah, you won't know.
It's not like, your name's going to be associated with who you voted, but every single vote counts. Anyway, we went through that spiel, but it was just very interesting with that, sort of train of thought that, they were at a point where they didn't want to vote or cast a vote because they didn't feel that anybody was worthy of getting their vote.
So it sounds like then Saipan has better candidates because the Saipanese people decided they want to show up to vote 70. And this is the thing is that people of Guam used to show up to vote. So are you saying that those 54 people that have put in their names in the ballot are not inspirational enough for you to show up to vote? Then you can run. The point is our government has a lot of resources now, we've acknowledged, and we have a lot of responsibilities. And now the beekeeper is telling us that we have an opportunity. but it's going to cost money and work. So again, those people that don't vote, shame on you. Again, we tell you can't complain then, but that's useless because you're going to complain. We're all going to complain if the power don't work, if the water don't work. I think it's about civic responsibility, and apparently this community used to take that very seriously. What do you think happened 2 years ago? Because now we're 2 years down the road. You've had a chance to analyze what happened. What are we doing differently from the election commission side?
So for the 2026 election cycle, we're going to do some voter participation events. We started with I Voted sticker design contest in all the island high schools. So we're hoping that with that contest, we have the parents of the kids, we have the teachers and the faculty, and we have those people that were exposed to the contest hurry up and come out to vote, because all of us, including those kids, worked hard to get those stickers out, and they're fantastic stickers. So we have 3 different types of stickers, and they'll be used for the 2026 primary and general election. What we have coming up around after May 1st is we're going to have, we're hoping to have village billboards. So on the village billboards will be some election information. Primary election is Saturday, August 1st. General election is Tuesday, November 3rd. Last day to register is July 17th. And we're also going to have voter participation record of that specific village.
Are we encouraging the military to vote?
So Jeff, the military across America, you can only register and vote in one election jurisdiction or in one state or territory. So most of our military vote in their resident state. Our folks, our military, we don't have that many coming from off island, our military voters, we don't have many voting with us because they decide, quite a few of them decide to vote in the state that they're assigned to.
Where they live.
Where they live, that's our law,
But they can, but they just have to be able to sort of forego the right to vote in their state, and they vote here locally.
That's correct. They just have to be here 30 days.
Correct.
That's why I try to look forward to convincing the dependents, the wives to vote here, or the children, or people that come here to join the military. If they have a benefit for voting in Texas or Alaska or like that, fine, but please let the other people in your family be encouraged to vote here.
Well, I think it makes sense because if they're going to be stationed here for several years, right, it would make sense for them to actually.
Well, they're paying their taxes here.
Yeah, and they're paying their taxes.
All the withholding tax that the military
And a
pays
lot
if
of
they're
them
permanent
find it,
goes to Gov Guam.
They find it a good investment to buy houses here.
That's right.
Yeah.
And their kids go to school here. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, I've met a lot of military families now. They're going on 8 years. They do the extension tour. They're pretty much, their kids who were born here. The kids don't know anything other than they were born on Guam. They're Guamanian, right? But on the flip side, do you think that COVID had do you think that COVID is a reaction to what has happened, where we just could only vote in the vehicle? Because on the flip side of somebody not voting, I've also had good conversations with now they're eligible to vote, but they used to go with their parents to vote, and they used to say one day, I want to do the paper. I mean, they used to, when they were small, and they were like, one day when I have the ability to vote, I'm going to go in there and take my kids. It was almost like a
family thing.
Yeah, family thing, and that I seen is kind of lost as well. Do you think COVID had anything to do with how people go out and vote, or, because remember, it was in the vehicle, it was very, not transactional.
Maybe even before COVID.
Even before
COVID. So, when COVID hit, the accessible voting process was made very, very well known, no? Where you can vote in the car, you can do that at early voting, and also on election day. So, and we encourage those who, have a hard time going into the voting booth to vote in their car. But during COVID, what we were trying to do is, after COVID, I'm sorry, we were trying to encourage the 18-year-olds that can walk in, go ahead and walk in, because otherwise you don't want to make 10 ana and 10 to say wait in that long accessible line, because it takes longer to vote. But you know, one of the things too, Chris, that I thought about, or that we've thought about at the GEC, is that maybe even without early voting, our numbers will go down more.
Oh.
Yeah, so
early voting is good, right?
We think so. We think that's what keeps it so the voter participation doesn't go down so much.
Right. Wow.
Yes. So we'll have early voting like about 2 weeks before the election, and people. Last time I think it was 7,000 that showed up for early voting.
That's pretty good. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You didn't used to always do early voting in a hotel. Last year, didn't you do it in a hotel?
I did.
The Westin, yeah, I like that up there too.
Yes, yes.
That was nice. People like that.
Yes.
It made it special.
Yes,
It
we
made it
did.
special.
And we try. We talked about procurement with the hives, right? Whether they have problems. Well, we have challenges with procurement because the primary election is held in one fiscal year, and the general election is held in the sequential fiscal year. When we go out to look for a place, for a venue, for early voting, we're pulling out our hair because we need to figure out, we want Ten Ana and Tunse to remember that early voting this year is the same place. So it's a challenge for us. It's a challenge for the person that the company that provides the venue.
You can do it here at Pirates Cove anytime.
I a day. But we need to
let the South rise, okay?
We need air conditioning because the humidity totally affects the ballots.
Well, we'll keep the ballots in here. We're just going to vote out there.
I
know?
a
I would like to say it, and not because of there. I mean, you know, because what's fair is fair, and you know, as far as the agencies and who does good and who's not doing too well. But I will say the process, you have a really good process and really great people working in your.
Now, when they ask what works in Guam, elections work, and the political process, I think, works for the most part. Everybody feels the ability to be able to participate. They just sometimes choose not to. I mean, literally anybody can run and anybody can vote. I mean, again, if they follow the rules. In fact, let's talk about those rules.
Yes, let's talk about independent voting.
Yes, go ahead, Jeff.
So.
Before we do that, can we like move down slightly and Fernando can next Charlie?
Just enjoying the show.
No, you gotta be in there.
You're gonna be in it to win it.
I told you to put another chair.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
No, we're nice and cozy. Okay, I'm ready.
So.
Or maybe not.
I ran as an independent in 1986, and when Ron McNitch was here, he said that I should have been allowed with Bill Roth to go on to the general election, no matter what. Right, the primary shouldn't have shut me out. Now, if somebody runs as an independent for governor, is there any different qualifications, or what do you have to do?
Okay. So you just have to garner enough votes, all of you, including the Republican and the Democrat and the independent candidate, all of you have to garner a minimum number of votes to go on to the general.
Is that 10%?
Yes. I know the last time I calculated, yes, 10%.
So 7,000.
No, I don't. Ma'am, dispensa, this we have
It
forgot.
used to be 4,800, but that was when the registration votes were lower.
So I know the signatures you need to get is 10% of the registered voters. Okay, so but maybe that's what it is.
Okay. That makes it very difficult.
Yeah,
in the beginning, right? So
yes.
Versus what, 500 for a party candidate?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff. Maybe I'm remembering now. Maybe it's 1,500 votes.
Yeah, I think it's lower than what
50,
you mentioned, right?
Yeah, all of you, the Democrats, the Republicans, and the Independents.
So if what you're saying is true, it's actually running as an independent doesn't preclude you from getting to the general. You just need to
Correct.
get a minimum number of votes.
Okay. Yes. But the challenge is.
And it's the same number as the party candidates?
Yes, yes. So it's the same. The Democrat.
So it's okay for Jeff and Charlie to run as gubernatorial because you are going to get him the minimum amount of votes. I think that's what we're deciding today. This is actually a collective exercise in trying to get Charlie and Jeff finally to pick up their packet tomorrow, Monday. You can all join us 8 a.m. and we will will it into existence. The Pirate Party is officially announcing that they're gonna bring an independent group for you to vote for. So that should excite some of you to come down and vote.
And Chris, you don't have to wait until tomorrow.
That's Charlie.
I mean, Charlie.
Chris
you
is
don't-
over here
over
with
there.
Charlie.
Okay, dispensa,
This is
Bina.
Emilio.
Charlie, you don't have to wait until tomorrow. You can request on our website
Ooh,
right now.
We're gonna do
for your
that.
packet,
I'm gonna
okay?
do that online this morning. Okay.
But the independent candidates won't have a ballot on the primary, right? They won't have their own ballot.
Again, that's the
And
challenge.
That's the challenge is for the primary candidates, you know, the voters will come out for those. But if you're an independent candidate, you don't get on the primary, you have to go get the votes yourself or signature.
No. You
No, you're
will
still
be,
in the
you're
primary.
in the primary.
With your own
The
ballot.
ballot changes. So if there's no independent candidate, the ballot will simply be a 2-column ballot.
That's right.
Republicans and then Democrats. If there's an independent, I'm sorry. It'll be, if there's no independent candidate, the Republicans will be on one side, Democrats on the other side. Okay?
Yeah.
If there's an independent, then it'll be a 3-column ballot.
Meaning, if you vote independent, you can't vote for any other candidate
Correct.
on either
You
party.
have to stay in the line.
Correct.
Yeah, you have to vote down the
It's
line.
almost like a third party, basically.
Right.
Oh,
You
you
know,
mean like no senators?
Correct, no
Oh.
senators, no.
No, you cannot
vote
cross
in there.
over.
Correct.
Yeah.
So-
In the
In
primary.
the primary.
But could you write in somebody who's identified as Democrat as an independent?
Say it again.
I would take
Charlie.
I take somebody,
Uh-huh.
Chris, and write him in as an independent, even if he's already running as a Democrat. Can I do?
It'll be counted simply as Chris in the Democrat, in the independent.
Then it would contaminate my vote.
Yeah.
It would invalidate my thing.
Oh, yeah, if you do.
If I voted for them as an independent, I can't vote for Chris as an independent.
Correct.
Why not?
That's
The
the
law.
law.
Change the law.
You know, I actually put out, me and Tommy Morrison in our term put out a bill to have, well, we started with senators, just said, hey, if you run independent, the first, first 15, right?
Yeah.
Equal to the parties, go straight to the general.
General, correct.
Right? And it was, we also did the part-time legislature, right, which was classify the legislative staff, reduce them down, senators to a stipend, and go back to 21, right?
So it must be gratifying to see a lot of those proposals now coming back.
Yeah, I mean, at our time, it was killed in committee, they never would even have a public hearing on it.
It didn't go through.
Yeah, just, that's it, we introduced it and everything, but, you know, the powers that be just would never let it come out, right? That's where the internal.
Folks, I know everybody knows Fernando because he's been a big part of our show. Actually, he's been only on one show, but that was probably one of our most watched episodes. And everyone wants him to have his own show. So now that he's come back from his worldwide tour, we're going to begin the negotiations. So like, share, subscribe, and if you want him to have his own show, just say so because, you know, we can will it into existence. Just like for those of you in the diaspora, those of you in San Diego, Bremerton, Texas, we're going to will it into existence that your votes will count, that you will be able to influence this election. We believe that there's at least 10,000 of you out there who want to vote, who are eligible to vote, and can vote. But can you tell them the bad news if they haven't been on Guam for 30 days in the last 12 months?
Yes, so in order for you to register to vote, you must be on Guam 30 days to be able to register. Must be a U.S. citizen, must be 18 by November 3rd.
But as a reminder, if you're military, right, active duty, and you don't change your residence, you can request an absentee ballot.
Okay, well, what about if you're off island because GMH sucks and you had to be medically
Absentee ballot.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
if you were a medical refugee or you were off island because SRF closed down in the BRAC and you were forced to leave your island, That's an absentee vote.
Unless, if you don't change your residency, so if you go, like, you have to go to San Diego to do medical treatment, then you register and become a resident of California, then you lose your ability to
No.
vote.
They're there and they're just there for medical
Absentee
purposes,
ballot.
right?
Yeah, you can request for an absentee ballot. If you're, like, before.
They're in
before we
school.
s-
What if they're in college?
Oh, that one, we have quite a few of our students.
Yes.
Registering to vote. But most of our students were registered before they left.
And what we're understanding though is they have to have their things notarized.
Okay.
There's a whole mailing process that
Yes.
is onerous.
Okay,
Can we
so-
fix that?
So the students, and actually anybody, can go to a university or community college registrar. and
Anybody
that
can
should-
go.
Anybody can go and get their ballot notarized there.
For
It's
free?
not there, for free. And maybe.
free?
For free. And maybe, in 2024, the girl voter, the female voter, did it for the first time, didn't know where to find a notary, called the state office, and they found out that notaries should not charge if they're notarizing for the processing of the ballot. So I don't know whether that's California statewide or nationwide, or if it's only from that county in California.
Might be a good thing, to find out, right, get that
Yeah.
information out there,
Mhm.
yeah.
So those of you out there that are listening, like, share, and subscribe. Contact your friends. Get on your WhatsApp group. Let's start getting the diaspora. Those of you that love Guam but are gone for whatever reason, you got to vote. We got to bring things that are good, more resources to succeed. And I think the biggest thing is that if Marie can get a greater percentage of people to vote, right? I mean, 48%.
49.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's less than half. That's
Yeah.
not good.
But then going back to the independent party, so I think we're all in agreement. All right, so it's understood that you can get on the ballot, but on the primary you cannot. Once you go on the independent side, you can't cross. And so, but if you do, then
The whole ballot does not count.
So does it mean that if Charlie and I ran and we go into the general election and people voted for us, they can't vote for senators that are Democrat or
No, not only in the
Republican?
general, you should be able to vote anyway.
general, yes.
It's
Yeah.
trying to make it through the primary, so here's the hill that would need to be climbed. I'm a independent candidate, right? I go to the primary, I have to make sure that whether it's like 1,200 or 10%,
1,500.
1,500 are voting only in the independent side, and these are not spoiled, at minimum, to go on to the general.
Yeah.
But then I believe the primary also serves as kind of the runoff to where there's only two, right?
No, we can have three, yeah.
Okay, three ways. So then,
Yeah.
then it would be a plurality, well, sorry,
No,
50 plus one.
yeah,
50
so,
plus
yeah.
one in the general.
Within the party.
Correct.
Yeah, they'd have to have yeah,
And then going into the general, you can have 3 teams.
correct.
Let's talk about senators running independent.
Same
difference.
Same thing.
Yeah, except senators only require 250 signatures. So I'll look into it and get back to all of you about what's the minimum number of votes required to go into the general election.
And signatures for independent is how many?
Same, if
250.
you're if you're
No, I'm
running.
saying-
That's for senator. For governor, I think it's 500, right?
500, okay, 500. Okay,
So,
Go
my
ahead.
question.
Go.
yes, ma'am.
Go, boss.
So what we're saying is that if you vote independent, then in the primary, you can only vote independent for that to count.
Correct.
But, so I guess my primary question is, that's operating under a bipartisan election system.
Correct. That's how they designed it in the law.
That's how it is.
Which can change.
How do we change, isn't there something in
You gotta
it?
change the law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tony Ada, change the law.
Isn't there something in effect? Now, this is a question we probably should really ask. I thought Dr. Ron Minch did
Lawsuit.
file a lawsuit. However, that is supposed to be heard
After.
after the primary. So what happens if they hear it after the primary and they rule that our current legislative election process is illegal? What then?
Yeah, Marie, what's gonna happen
Is it,
then?
I don't apologize.
And it's a
I-
different
no.
fiscal year.
I could take a guess, is they'll appeal and the election will
Yeah.
go through and they'll call
Yeah.
it moot. But for the next election, it might apply.
Right. it
Yeah,
might.
they'll appeal it up to the Ninth Circuit, more than likely, to protect the election and not, leave us governmentless. And that appeal's not gonna be a quick thing. So even if it happens after you appeal, you're looking like 6 months to a year before the appeals court hears it and rules.
But then it won't, the precedent will be set, but it will not apply. to
Well, it
the current
depends on
election.
what the appeal
Yeah.
comes, right? 'Cause-
How what the
and how
court
they look at
rules.
it, right? To tell a state, how to not to do or not to do their elections a very
So that
big
sounds
thing.
like a procurement protest, right? So basically you're saying then,
Yeah.
even if somebody, appeals it, the process will go through for the good of the community, and whoever is protesting is just gonna have to wait and see what happens, but very likely their protest won't have any effect on the eventual outcome because the mission is more important than the process.
Correct.
That's almost like the ends justifies the means.
That
Okay.
is the system we're stuck with.
Okay,
We're not saying
okay.
we agree with
No,
you.
no.
We
I
were
agree
stuck
with it.
that for a reason, right?
Yeah, but I agree with
Because the
it.
Democrats and Republicans do not want.
It's okay, we've been
independence.
living with this for like 250 years. Can we apply that to the Simon Sanchez project? The Simon Sanchez project is the epitome of government in Guam not being able to get something done.
Well, it's good Chris is here. We all know about the butterfly and the snail, right?
No, we don't, tell the story.
No, so they did the designs, they had the designs and discovered
Butterflies?
Yeah, protected species.
Yeah.
So they had to redesign the whole thing around that, to figure out how they're gonna mitigate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they really?
So-
Because,
Yes.
again, if the mission was more important, they would have just said goodbye butterfly
It's all
and get it
public
done.
record. You can look at
I
that.
know, but
Yeah.
how much did the governor really want this building built if she didn't stick her neck out and say, I was gonna say a bad
Yeah.
word, the butterfly or the snail?
But
Because we are,
But so it's a ESA listed species,
Correct.
so this is a federally
Federal.
listed species.
our federal president
and-
is doing a lot of things that,
I know, it's,
But,
yeah.
Governor.
can I spell Venezuela for you?
But, Chris is right, it's federally protected species.
Okay, but again, we can blame the Attorney General, we can blame the US federal EPA or whatever. The point is, Simon Sanchez High School has not been built.
Agreed.
Doesn't anybody care?
So we were at John F. Kennedy High School.
Yeah.
Oh, lucky you.
We were at John F. Kennedy High School doing voter outreach. One of their teachers, Mr. Angelo, approached us to come up. So we were there for 2 days. What Mr. Angelo told me was how JFK got renovated and rebuilt was that it started in the school. It was the students, the teachers, the faculty, and the administration. They all got together and made sure they knew the mission to get JFK back up and going. And so I said, oh, so you created a model to do that? And he said, yes.
And that's a good point, because the other point that I've had a really good conversation with somebody in Teason who, they're trying to eliminate the double session, and they automatically went to moving Simon Sanchez and doing this collaboration with no teacher-student input.
Yeah.
There's one person, the superintendent, who made the decision, and what I'm trying to get is, where is the data that show me one piece of data that shows that the Simon Sanchez students, were not performing at a level where they were getting pulled out. Now, what about if the double session was working? Let's just say, what about if the data shows that the students were doing well? What about it, and now we're pulling that off? Because if the data shows that we're just, skyrocketing down, then I would say, okay, we need to come up with, there is no data that is formulated, and the parent, teachers, students didn't have a say in this collaboration between Sanchez and Teason, and I think that's wrong. I think the superintendent took this on her own to make the decision, and she has no data to back it up. So I just wanted to make that point, because
That sounds like a queen bee that's about to get excommunicated from the hive.
Yeah, no. And the other question that we're getting also is, are your billboards gonna be next to the AGs or be in front of it or on the side of the?
So, we're non-political.
Oh,
So
no.
we've, wait,
Well,
I'm
you're
gonna tell
not
you.
that.
We're
You're at the heart
non-political,
of politics.
So we qualify to be on public easements.
Oh.
So we talked to DPW already, and we know the process. So as soon as we have the locations, we've talked to the mayors of each village, and so they're part of our group that's going to help us get it up and make sure that throughout that it's there throughout the primary in general. Make sure it's really visible during that time.
No, that's good, that's good.
Yeah.
Definitely the outreach it's definitely gonna go a long way, especially with the voting blocks that we're missing,
Cool.
right?
Yes.
The younger folks, the veteran folks. There's a lot of communities, even certain communities like the Filipino community, right, that has been here and the second generation of families, and we're missing that outreach. I think that
They don't feel confident in the candidates. I really feel that way. I feel that when we look at who's running for governor right now, there's only one that I even like. When I look at it overall as for me, for my future, for my grandchildren, like that. And that's why I keep telling Charlie we should take a shot at it. Like, follow, and share, Charlie.
So we have 6 months to August 1st, which is the primary, and then about 9 months from now until the general on November the 3rd. And so all of you have plenty of time to get registered, look at the candidates, encourage Jeff and Charlie to get in there. But then there's a lot of you are going, why should I care? And so one of the reasons I'm going to say is because Guam doesn't have enough affordable housing. We need to work together as a community in the private sector and as government sector to try to figure out how are you going to make housing affordable for those of you who are going to be voters, those of you who want to raise your families here. People are getting priced out of paradise, and that's why I'm saying we need to reach back to those who have been forced to leave. They didn't want to leave, and I think they want to have a say in this next election. So we're going to give you that opportunity. We're going to build you that platform. We're going to find ways to make it easier, but we still need affordable housing. So Fernando, thank you for coming back into studio. Yeah. What's your update?
We need housing. And I think that's the misnomer. We did the housing summit last year, which really improved the situation because we had, leaders, business folks kept throwing out affordable housing like it's a buzzword. But there's a definition to affordable housing, right? It's anyone's housing is spending less than 30% of their gross household income. So mathematically, unless you're being subsidized by the government, most people are not living in affordable housing unless they're making over $120,000 a year, the family of four. That's just the math. So what we talked about was we need realistic goals. So let's talk about and define attainable housing. What's a reasonable goal? 30 not happening unless they're on subsidies right now or making a lot. So how can we focus on housing for the middle class? Attainable housing, housing for the missing middle is the key to affordable housing. Because here's the thing, I have families that are ready to go. They're getting educated, they're doing this and that, they're ready to be self-sufficient, but there's nowhere for them to go. If they make $1 more, if they take on an extra shift, if they take that promotion, they're gonna lose their housing. Not because GHURA says, because the federal government says. And that's a problem. And so how do you go from, being at the threshold and then jumping? Who gets a $36,000 raise except the government of Guam, right? But I'm just saying most people don't. And that's kind of that gap to go from being under these programs and having that support to being self-sufficient. And if we don't recognize that that's an impossible leap for most, then we're not going to get anywhere. We're just going to talk about it. The politicians are going to keep throwing these buzzwords out with no clear direction on how to accomplish anything, right? And we're kind of making these pleas and working with the federal government too to say, look, your programs have to, because actually GHURA is unique in the nation. We're the only one with all of these housing programs under one house. Everywhere else, they're all segregated throughout different parts of the state, county, city. Guam is the only place in the country that has all this. But we're also unique in the fact that we're the only housing authority in the country that receives no local appropriations or support, funding support, right? Which is a challenge because I have the opportunity with all these programs, but I don't have a non-federal funding source to glue them together and do really substantial projects and make headway. But so being in this perspective, we're able to see how these different federal programs can connect to get somebody who's homeless, basically, get them, you know, trained up, get them a job, get them some stability in housing, and then once they've moved out of that, you know, public housing or Section 8, they go into other types of rentals that can carry them longer, where they can grow their wealth without fear of losing their home up to a certain point and then be self-sufficient. And what that does is it creates space for somebody else to come in. Because I can't give another public housing, I only have so many. And unless I can get this family out and get them self-sufficient, get them somewhere where they can continue to grow, I can't bring somebody who hit rock bottom in, you know what I mean?
I thought you were gonna bring us good news. That was a nice summary.
So good news is that it's looking like April, we're gonna start launching our programs.
Which one?
The Fix and Six.
That's the $550,000.
Over $500 million grant, yeah. Majority of that's going to various housing programs. We got
So how many people are gonna get homes?
But everyone's housing situation is different. No, you don't just build a home and say, here you go, here's a key. It doesn't work like that, right?
How does it work?
Well, first of all, when we were doing the unmet needs assessment, we discovered that in 2024, 2025, there were still a lot of families who have not been able to go back to their house, or it's not livable from Typhoon Mawar. So as most assume, you know, we're just recovered, right? They're not seeing the gaps, right, where that person's weatherhead's done, right? They're still having a tarp, you know, as a roof. The windows are still blown out or whatever. They're still trying to get their insurance claims. So there's still a good amount. So that's the low-hanging fruit. How do we get families back into their homes? They might be staying with relatives right now, but their primary residence during the storm was either damaged or made unlivable. That's kind of the first tranche that we're looking at. Developing more multifamily units for affordable rentals is another tranche. Allowing the private sector and individuals to contribute to that with extremely low interest loans for the construction of accessory dwelling units.
How much?
I have 25 million set aside for that.
How much, what's the interest rate?
If I can get away with it, like 1, 2, 3%.
Because it's 8% the prime right now.
Yeah.
So he's saying, for those rebuilders out there, work with him, he'll get you 1%.
But this would be a loan to a homeowner, right? Like, hey, I have a home, I can meet the requirement, you know, can I get that?
But you're saying 25 million of your program is going to subsidizing 1% interest rates to reconstruct their homes?
It's a range, right?
But it's not 8%.
No, definitely not, right?
Okay, well,
It's definitely
that's
not
a big
prime.
improvement.
It's not even close to prime. It'll be, you know, between that 1 to 5%.
When can they apply?
Well, that program's probably gonna be closer to either late spring or early summer.
Who qualifies?
Say again?
Who qualifies?
I mean, there'll be somebody who would qualify for the loan?
Yes, to build the house.
I mean, it'll be somebody who's willing to meet our conditions,
Oh, okay.
right? And the conditions is we're looking at is that the unit has to be rented as affordable
Okay,
under the
cool.
definition, which just means you cannot charge the person more than 30% of their gross house.
Oh, wait a minute, so you're talking about giving it to somebody who's gonna build a multi-dwelling unit, like an apartment?
No.
'Cause I thought you were talking about.
Accessory dwelling unit.
No, and I thought you were talking about helping people on Swamp Road rebuild their houses so they can go back.
So that's a different program.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
how
have
much? How much?
90 million set aside.
Yeah,
So this is a total of about 110 million.
120.
And you're gonna do
and then,
low
45,
interest.
43 for multifamily, so I'm almost close to the bulk of it, I'd say closer to 200,000 going
200
towards
million.
housing. 200 million, sorry.
Yeah, because you have 550, so you've already minus by almost half, right?
Yeah.
So that's 200 million that's gonna help rebuild houses, but also maybe build extensions onto their existing land. But whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's gonna create more dwelling places that are
Correct.
attainable.
Permanent housing, and then we're looking at too, like, here's a low hanging fruit, and this has been the tradition on Guam for many typhoons, right? Roof replacement, like permanent roof replacement. You've had so many of the homes now at one point were tin or shacks, right? They've rebuilt them. Okay, some maybe have concrete walls, foundation, but they don't have the roof. And you slap a concrete roof on there, it becomes a permanent home. that family will never have to go to a shelter again, ideally, right? That's the thought behind it. I think there was a lot of the misunderstanding after Mawar, because our last typhoon, we experienced FEMA back in the 90s, early 2000s. They were a different FEMA. Gotta remember what happened after Pong Songhua was Katrina, and everything changed, right? All the rules changed, became way more restrictive, this and that. And so we didn't see that same kind of benefit and growth like we saw from the previous typhoons, because FEMA changed. But we want to continue that tradition that we've had along in Guam that's helped build these resilient homes over the many decades, right? You remember after, Omar, right? You remember after Paka, Pong Songhua, Chata'an, right? You see either it's the SBA loans or these FEMA grants at the time, and then you're seeing homes come up as concrete. We want to continue that tradition forward to create permanent homes, and that's a key thing. It's not just about spending the money. It's how do we spend it in a meaningful way, right? How do we keep a family there? Because then that becomes part of the permanent housing stock. That's low-hanging fruit. And all of that, whether it's homeowner rehab, rehabilitation, major rehabilitation, kind of borderline reconstruction, right, by adding a concrete roof, those are all low-hanging fruit. Rather than, because I could build brand new housing and I'd run out of money just like that.
But is it use it or lose it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
That's
so
why it's called Fix and Six.
So we have 6 years.
Got 5 years left as of March.
Okay.
No, and actually, let's face it, for the people that went through Mawar and lost their homes, it's been more than 2 years since they've been able to go back, and some of them are dead. So, justice delayed is justice denied. And whereas in the past, FEMA was able to respond and impact people when it mattered, where it mattered, this whole delay that's happened because the federal government doesn't trust Puerto Rico, doesn't trust Guam, and you need to be fiscally sound, otherwise we're going to blow it. So you're doing a great job being fiscally sound, but like you say, you've had this money for a year, we only have 5 more years left. Time is ticking on these people.
But that's the thing, is that as you said, right, there are all these checks. We have to build this from the ground up, right? The action plan being that, getting that approved from HUD. What are the programs going to look like? How are you going to spend the money? Building all the policies and procedures from the ground up, writing those, making sure they're Guam centric, right? I could take a draft from somewhere else, but it's not going to fit Guam, right? We have unique situations we want to be careful about. Otherwise, I could launch these programs, sure, but people are not going to be able to avail of them. I mean, you could understand that with the voting, right? If you don't make this something for them, I think the biggest complaint people had from FEMA, you have these people coming from off island, but they have no idea. People lining up and got nothing, right? They weren't prepared. They didn't tell them what documents to bring. You just, hey, come show up, right? And a lot of them didn't get help or good service. We took that, those comments were not FEMA, but we took that experience because we're all local here and said, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do these outreaches. We're gonna get them prepared. We're gonna let them know what they need to bring so that we can get them to construction as quickly as possible. But that all culminates up to where we're at now, where we're waiting for the final grant agreement. So they've looked over our policies and procedures, our conflict of interest policies and procedures, all of these things based on experiences from Puerto Rico or the NMI or other jurisdictions. Yeah, us being kind of the last ones to get it falls on us, but we're making that, right? So yeah, you look at the Fix and Six, it's great. But there is all that administrative stuff that has to come first. It's a significant amount of money.
And that's the right approach. I mean, if you look at DPW, when they copy pasted the highway rules, so that, trucks going over bridges, it was ridiculous. I mean.
So you're doing your homework, due diligence. You hired and trained 80 people to help make the process go smoother once it gets started, right? So 80 people now have essentially federal jobs to help facilitate this rollout of now 500 million, 200 million. That sounds like it's going to immediately impact on people that are looking for loans to do this work. And you're talking about them now lining up for 1% interest loans for construction. When is this going to start?
So different programs. The first programs we're looking to launch are obviously mitigation. So mitigation projects, because they're more ready to go, right? But we can get those started to go. The first housing program we're pushing for, is the homeowner rehabilitation reconstruction. The loans will follow soon. That's why I'm saying maybe late spring, kind of early summer for that launch. They're going to be phased launches.
So late spring would be like May 31st.
Yeah, it would be like May 31st if I could. Yes, if I can get it out. Short answer is as quickly as I can. Right? 'Cause
Well,
we
okay,
gotta
well,
send that
then I'm going to
final-
say that you're already beyond that because it should have been last year.
Couldn't have been last year.
Why not?
Impossible.
Why?
I can't spend the money without the grant agreement. I can't
Again,
get the grant agreement without all of these things.
Buddy, it's 3 years since Mawar. If we're
No,
doing,
no, no,
if
no,
the first
no.
one that you're rolling
Let's
out
go back to the-
is to rebuild after Mawar, this is ridiculous.
But see, here's the thing. January 2025. Sorry, let's go back to December. December 2024 is when Congress passed the funds. Right? 2025, December or January 2025 is when HUD rolled out the rules to access the money. Right? So we got our administrative grant agreement
So last
in March.
January, when
Yeah.
Donald Trump took over.
Yeah. I mean, they had been talking about it for a while, but yeah, the funding didn't come. That's I think a misnomer. They
So
said,
it's,
oh, Mawar was back then.
it's 15 months later, and it is 3 years since Mawar.
Correct. 3 years since Mawar. But it's
So you're going to roll this out on May 31st. People can start filling out applications now.
Yeah.
Because you have 80 people that are sitting around getting a paycheck. What the hell are they doing?
writing the next policies and procedures.
Okay, so can the customers, the people that are gonna benefit, can they
We're
start
literally-
front loading?
We're literally waiting for the grant agreement from HUD. I cannot expend these funds.
You're not
for
expending
HUD.
anything, you're getting people that need
Yes.
to get the paperwork together.
Yeah.
Can they start coming down for
We're
workshops
gonna
at your
start putting
office?
out, we've done plenty of workshops. We've done hundreds of outreaches.
I have heard out of a single one. I've not heard
You
a
can
single
follow
one.
on www.
Yeah, again, you know, if you're a voice crying out in the wilderness, right, like
Yeah.
John the Baptist, we'll need to write the Bible so that people can read about
Sure.
it. But the point is, there are people on Swamp Road that are right now jumping up and down.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
gonna come and kiss you.
I've met them, right? Like, we have them registered in the outreaches. I know they have this information.
Okay, I can show you more people that haven't been registered,
Sure.
because I saw them yesterday, and they were wondering when I was gonna bring you to their house. So, no, on this air,
Yeah.
I'm going to pick you up, and we're gonna go to their house, and you're gonna see that you guys missed somebody.
No, we're
And
not-
they're very close to Wysensong Road. So the thing is that there are people that need this resource.
Yes.
And I'm glad it's gonna come. We're not ragging on you.
Yes.
We're just simply saying that time is of the essence.
I agree.
Okay.
I 100%.
So we're not
agree.
disagreeing.
Yeah, no,
Not
I'm
yet.
saying I'm going as quickly as I can.
You're gonna have to move faster. Dude, I'm telling you,
I'm going
right now, these people, every time it rains, they're reminded that you're not moving fast enough.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay? It's not okay.
I mean, I got.
What can he do?
The Fed's
You can
got
go
to sign the
out.
grant agreement.
No, that's not true. You could start the process of getting them enrolled so that on the day the Fed say yes, you press send. The process takes a long time. These people are illiterate. These people don't have the paperwork. They're gonna have to find it. They don't know what paperwork they need.
Well, we've done tons of workshops.
Okay, you missed
Put
a
that
couple.
out.
I'm gonna tell you, you missed a
Yes,
couple.
And that happens.
And this is
right?
on Swamp
When you get
Road.
information
Swamp
out.
Road is literally in the middle of Dedido now. So there are people in Mauricio, in Yamata, that also qualify. I'm not mad at you. I'm just simply saying, we can't let bureaucracy go this slowly. We need to light a fire under its ass. And you're not the problem, because you come here every Sunday and you take my bullshit.
Yeah.
But my bullshit is good shit.
It's
this,
good.
This is really good shit. Because you're
Yes.
telling me
We agree.
1% construction for people that otherwise would have to go to the bank and be, humiliated
That's
by
for
the
ADU.
prime.
That's for ADU. That's
Yeah, I don't
different.
care, man. You're telling me that there's 200 million that's about to help the people of Guam.
Correct.
I can't wait.
I can't wait.
But I guess the question is, and I guess not, the question is, can people start signing up now?
Just get prep.
Okay.
Pre-op.
That's the question.
If I'm going to do surgery on you, I'm not going to
I
wait
would-
on the
I
day
would-
of surgery
you're
to
gonna
determine
see-
that you have
You're gonna see
diabetes.
the announcements rolling out very soon for it, right? Because
Tomorrow?
we have what's called a citizen participation plan. We gotta pull it out, get all the information out. Hey, this is in advance. Let everybody know before application opens up,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that way we don't miss people and say, "Why did they know?" And then they apply kinda later. Yeah.
So you got 80 people sitting around ready to do this stuff, because I can bet if I go do a drug test on them, some of them buy nice.
My team?
Yeah.
No, we all get drug tested.
Once?
No.
Let me do
no,
it. Let me
no,
do it
no,
on
we can
Tuesday.
buy
Let me
it,
do it
drug
on
tested.
Tuesday. I'm accusing you just simply because I'm going. Let's move. Gov Guam people
Yeah.
don't sit still. They get bad habits really quickly when their checking accounts are full.
No, yeah.
No.
No, Fernando's got
Come
to
now, come.
No.
I'll come to the election commission first.
Yeah.
You don't know these 80 people. These 80
It's
people
not
didn't have a
80
job
people.
before.
It's not 80 people.
It was, you said it in the
No,
news, it was 80.
That was the there's the program side and there's the ancillary. The board approved up to 75, we're planning a job fair for those. Those are to help with the permitting process, so we're not held back. and
I thought
we can
these were
start
the
spending.
these people, because you have a lot of people that are gonna go through a registration process.
Say again?
You have a lot of people
And
that
we
have to.
we have a
just-
software
just-
to make that very smooth.
Dude,
for
so does
non-manual.
public health. They have a hard time working these, I'm not kidding, right?
Yeah.
These people have, the customers you're dealing with are struggling with the Medicaid process,
Yeah.
which
I
is the
understand.
same thing, right? And by the way, public health didn't pay for the software, so how sure are you your software is gonna be working?
I'm sorry, that's what we're going through right now before launch is the testing. I have people murdering it, going in there, hey, find it, mess with the system, find every which way. Is this clear? What's Tanana's approach? What would the illiterate approach? How can they do it? What can we do to make sure that this reaches and can help the most amount? I'm an Army guy, so I know the importance of right?
You know-
maybe keep it simple.
Yeah, let's keep it, look,
right?
the Alamo
We're
was the
going through
result
that right
of an
now.
Army guy showing up late.
The
And
what?
The Alamo was the result of an Army guy showing up late and John Wayne getting shot as Davy Crockett by by Santa Ana.
Okay.
Because the Army guy decided that he was gonna, follow the
Must
eyes.
have been
and
an
teeth.
officer.
I have a question. She has a question.
I have a
Oh,
question.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you know that it's a highly financial aspect right here, where you're going to ask every single, even veterans already have this.
Yeah.
Ability to do multifamily units and, right, with HUD.
Yeah,
low income
not,
housing.
no, different things. If you're talking about the veterans and the 4-unit, I think you're talking about the VA loan.
Multifamily.
Multifamily loan, yes.
So, I mean, that's highly, these are financial vehicles or options
Yeah.
available, right? So HUD does first time home buyers as well?
HUD, so that's a different side of HUD that we don't, that's direct with HUD, and that's the FHA, the Federal Housing Administration. So they do that great plug. They do single family home first time buyer. But here's one thing, and we brought these guys out, the first time to Guam, is the HUD FHA multifamily. And these guys provide great loans for private developers who want to build multifamily housing. It's not something we run, that's run directly through HUD, and they're desperate to have a portfolio here. We even brought all the banks to come meet them to try to get local banks to be FHA approved lenders. But you're not restricted to a local bank. You can go to a bank in the States and get an FHA mortgage through there. And that's us, like, look, this is not our babies, not grants we have, but we're trying to connect the private sector with these resources that are out there. This was a big part of our summit last year. And so we're looking at every avenue, not just the grants that we're running on a day-to-day. What are some other resources out there that maybe Guam's not connected to yet? But you're absolutely right. They're desperate to have. There's only been one FHA multifamily loan
Project.
ever done on Guam, and that was from GHURA. That's Guma Tranquilidad. That's
That was in
the-
1972.
Correct. That's
Okay,
the
wait,
only
wait,
thing in
just
the
real
portfolio.
quick, because it sounds like, right, there's a need, right?
There's a huge need.
And then there are resources, including
Yes.
yours, right? And then this one from FHA. How many units do we need so that Guam is whole? How many people that you're aware of, how many houses do we need to get that are attainable for our people so that we're in a good place?
Attainable.
Yeah, what's the quantity?
If we're just talking straight attainable, between 4,000 to 5,000.
Okay, so it's a number like 5,000, right? Can 200 million do that?
No,
So
not
how?
even close.
So, well, okay, what number does the 200 million that you're about to bring online, how many homes does it help?
Well, it depends on the
How much of the
program.
need does it fulfill?
It depends on the program, but I could say between I'd say safely about 1,500
Yeah.
based on how
Dude,
that would stretch.
that's 30%.
Yeah.
That's a great thing, because you're saying that thing's coming online on May 31st, thereabouts, and people need to get ready for it, and this is gonna change the lives of families, right?
Yes.
Along the lines of, like, I mean, I love Ironwood Estates and some of the things that were done. You're not so happy about that?
No. I mean, that's a component. That is an important component, right? But
That's
it's
you.
all different.
Isn't that you?
No, that's a whole different program, but that's a great program, by the way. But we administer it, but we don't own those.
Yeah, but you administer it. Take credit for it. I mean, that's creating a safe environment for people, and they don't have to go to typhoon shelters when there's typhoon. So the point is, coming soon to a village near you is 1,500 dwellings that have been hardened for typhoons, and they're being paid for through this great program that you have, and you still have another 200 million to burn.
And earmarked for other activities, but get some like.
Well, so of that extra, so you're already doing 1,500 homes. You still haven't more than 200 million if you don't waste it, and you need to spend it quicker. Those 200, that other 200 million, how many more homes are you going to build with, or how many more dwellings are you going to be able to impact on? What's the total number that your project is?
Well, here's what I'm looking to do is, and I guess I'm sharing more than I should.
No, why?
I mean, because
people's money.
We're still in the day, but the housing plan we're doing is to build Guam's first mixed-use development, right? Which is commercial space. The first floor.
Is that in Manila?
3 to 4.
Next to the hospital?
That's been in our plan the whole time.
Okay, then.
That's why I need that infrastructure.
That's why you're here.
Right?
Let's talk about it.
43 million in federal dollars.
Spell it out.
Market
Spit it out.
For another 43 million, and that's going to be enough to house 1,000 people.
Wait a minute. You have 100. You have 200 million. Why do you need to go to the bond market?
Well, this is important because there's federal restrictions on there. I'll tell you this right now. I could, and say I'm going to do 100 million affordable. Never going to be able to maintain it. You need mixed income. So I need to have attainable people in there because the feds are not paying for attainable people. They're going to pay for affordable.
Wait, you have 100 acres, right? So even if you spend 100 million, you're only going to use about 30 acres. You still have 70 that includes the hospital. So when we talk about global city, right?
Yeah.
But they don't have any attainable housing in global city. The footprint of what you need, which is an economic engine that Charlie can help you with, is still 70 acres.
So what we're going to do would be adjacent to the proposed site for the hospital, not on
outside
the hospital.
Outside of the 100 million, 100 acres that the governor wants.
Yeah. So the whole agreement from the get-go, and I said this publicly before, is look, it's like we can help you procure the land, but we want some land to hold onto some land for housing development, right? That would be our part in it. That's always been our part in it. But the infrastructure is key because I can't build. There's no infrastructure there. There's no sewer. I can't build any type of density without that sewer and water. That's why we're desperately trying to get it too. Not the hospital. Guam needs a new hospital, but that's not my primary business. We had this conversation before. I need the infrastructure to build housing. And so the other people down the road can build housing or businesses, right? It's an economic driver.
And you know what? And I think that this is the selling point that should have been, clearly stated in the onset.
They should have put you in the front of this.
But the only point I want to make in regards to the hospital and the 100 million that we're still
in danger of losing
is the fact that you should not want to lose. I mean, we should not be rooting,
happy.
We should not be rooting for the governor to lose the 100 million. Whether you're on the right or the left, or you hate the administration, we should not be rooting to lose 100 million so that you can go back and point a finger at her and say you lost the money. We should be rooting to make whatever we need to do to be able to spend the $100 million down. I think that
infrastructure.
Infrastructure. Can we shake hands on this? Because some people think we don't like each other, but I'm with him on this. I think the infrastructure needs to be put on, so I'm going to boldly say that the governor should get what she wants, which is the 100 million to bring in the sewer, water, and power into this land in Manila that is in the middle of nowhere, right across the street from Fidea, and get those people that are there. There's like 10 families there that are going to benefit. But then if you're telling me that you're going, as a result of this, you're going to be able to build a 43-acre mixed-use, multi-dwelling, whatever.
I would need 14 acres.
14 acres. That's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. She already bought 43 acres, and then you guys can
bought 43 acres.
Oh, that was you?
That was GHURA.
Okay, what about the land they condemned? Because they bought. I know, but they bought 43, and then they condemned the other 60.
Yes, which is on a higher elevation, right?
Okay, but
it was eminent domain.
Eminent domain.
Which is condemned. The process is.
Anyway, so that thing you may still see victory, but the 43 can be served by the infrastructure with the 100 million.
That was the whole plan.
Okay. So I'm on this show changing my tune, which actually I never, because I wanted a million. My clinic's a million. I'm going to get rich if you put a million out. But the point is that for the sake of argument, right? We have been saying no. Governor, put it in Nepal Beach just because we're getting a lot of viewers just because it's entertaining. Yeah. But now I'm going to lay down my arms. Oh. I'm going to embrace you, and because we always agree.
We always agree.
Yes. Yeah. So can we tomorrow announce together jointly that we support the 110 million to go directly into infrastructure immediately because it's there. Okay,
let's do it.
Okay, Governor, just give this man a raise. Oh wait, he already got one. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so in your outreach to get to these programs, are you going to have a big shindig where these applicants can come in?
Yeah, we are going to have a
second. Yes.
I'm doing a job fair. Do you want to?
Yes, we can.
April 17th. I'll give you the information.
And then we'll do a bee demonstration, and so we'll get them. Everybody will go home with a queen mother, a mother bee.
Let's talk procurement now.
Okay.
Because this is great.
Oh,
because
wait. Where's the jar? Where's the jar?
A competent homegrown individual here, Mr. Chris, right? Miss Pangelinan,
yes,
right? I mean, obviously, everyone believes and trusts that she does a great job.
Yes.
And say what you want about me, I don't know. But as far as the way procurement goes, is it treats everybody in the government like we're crooks. And it makes it harder. And I'll tell you where a lot of these regulations came from. Was it when a time when the government of Guam was so broke and they're like, we can't risk a single dollar. So you got to try to get it perfect. And if you mess up, we're not even going to risk it because we have no money to do it. Which now puts us in the situation where we have money and we can't spend it, and we're losing money because we can't spend it, right? And that's the big issue. Yeah. The thing with procurement is if you have one little mistake, which I agree with, the only option is to start over. And it takes so much time to develop that. Here's the big, if I have to simplify it, it's the automatic stay has got to go.
Oh yeah.
We're the only ones, I think, that do that, right? Yeah. It's like, look, take the risk. If we believe we're right and we need this, as you're saying, it's mission oriented, we're gonna go full force. Maybe we're wrong, maybe we made a little mistake, but we need this now.
Because people are not crooks. So a perfect example, Simon Sanchez High School. Let's move forward because you have a group of people that are saying, why is Cortec winning all the time, right? Let's just make no bones about it. Cortec lost last time, now they win this time. So of course the guys are sore, right? Just push forward because apparently no one's a crook on this one. A lot of really smart people have laid their neck out. No one cheated, and Simon Sanchez needs to be rebuilt.
And it is a show, so I can guarantee that Peter Santos, I'm sure some comments, nothing on the comments on.
We'll get it, Peter.
And the AG reviews was not. See, here's the thing about the 5150, Section 5150 of the procurement law, is when the legislature came up with it in their heads because they weren't in the executive, they don't know how this stuff really goes. They thought, oh, if a government agency needs to do a procurement over 500,000, it's going to go to the AG's office, and this army of attorneys, highly skilled attorneys, are going to come look at this, right, and make sure to go line by line, make sure it's all perfect before it goes out for procurement, right? That's not what happens. There's one guy, maybe two, they rotate, they have other responsibilities, and it stacks up like DMV or a permit just waiting to get there when it get to it when it gets to it. You don't know their level of experience in procurement. If they're even, this was the finding that the court had, is that the people doing procurement in the AG's office didn't even do the courses that the law requires. So I mean, how familiar are they with the law, right? And so now you're waiting on this review, and so on ours, then we'll get accused like, oh, you're sitting on, we're sitting on this. What are you doing, government of Guam? It's like, we say procurement, is kind of the catch-all, but I'm gonna be the one to say it, like, that 5150 law is trash. The legislature even realized it after they passed it, because like 4 months later, they created the SAG, the Special Assistant Attorney General. So they kept the law, but said, oh, Attorney General, because they were drowning, nothing was moving, right? Legislature broke it, and their fix was for the AG to appoint SAGs at the agencies that had attorneys or could have attorneys to do their own reviews. So then we get Doug Moylan. and says, I don't want any SAGs. I want it all to come to my 1 or 2 guys in my civil division. And if you really need it and it's important, you call me and I'll decide how to prioritize it. You want to talk bureaucracy? That's even beyond bureaucracy. That's just trash, right? That's just trashy government. How well does he like you? That's the determining factor. Do you think if I called him and said, hey, could you push my procurement forward, anything's going to move? Hell no. I had a comment come from the civil division, right? And they said, oh, here's our comments back from the procurement. We had to write back and say, we canceled this procurement a year ago because we heard nothing from you. I had to spend the money elsewhere. We couldn't even do these home rehabs because it was just sitting there, no response. They didn't know who was.
No, this 200 million that you're going to roll out on May 1st doesn't need the AG's signature, right?
We don't need the AG's signature, but the 5150. Here's the clear thing in the Supreme Court law, right? It was a GIA versus Moylan, right? Where he lost this battle already in the Supreme Court of Guam. Said his responsibility, not anyone else's, the AG's responsibility is to be the advisor and review procurements over 500,000. His responsibility. So then now here's the situation we're in, and I think there was an article on this with the governor, is what if the AG just doesn't want to do his job? It's like, I'm not going to do it. I don't agree. Pocket veto. He's not the procurement authority. He's not the one held responsible legally whether money gets spent or not. And sure as hell, it's not the people of Guam who are going to suffer by not getting these resources out to them, right? But he could just pocket veto. It's a loophole in the law. You know why? Because nobody ever imagined, when you're in the legislature, you're never going to imagine having an AG, who's acting like a baby, right? Who doesn't care about the
He's not acting like a baby, he's acting like a governor.
Exactly.
AG is acting governor. All right, you complain about the AG a lot, right? Let's figure this out. If you're right, like you said, just go move on.
Yeah.
Forget him. He's just a protest. He's just another protester.
Yeah.
So if this job needs to be done, it gets done. And then
that's an interesting point, right? Because let's say GHURA was to do it. This is how petty it is. With a little, you've heard every lawyer say it. You can indict a ham sandwich, right? This is what's going to happen if you go against him. He's going to just file criminal charges on you. He doesn't care if he wins. He just wants you to suffer because you cannot use any government of Guam funds to defend. But you're going to pay out of pocket.
This would be the third time, though, if he does that against you, that he would have lost, because he did it with Arts and Augustine. He did it with the guys down at the port.
Yeah.
So after a while, you do it. It's like crying wolf.
Yes, but see, it doesn't matter though the win or loss because these are innocent people. Ultimately, right? The courts found them innocent, who are now out $40,000 to $50,000 because they're doing their job, and he didn't like it. So he's using the justice system to punish his enemies. I'm a freaking veteran. I didn't fight for this kind of tyranny, right? So trash. I'll say absolute bottom of the barrel, outside of the barrel, trash. That is trash. When you're going to prosecute somebody because you don't agree, trash. That's freaking trash.
Mr. Trump would agree with you. So as we move forward, right, you're about to try to execute a very difficult maneuver, which is spend $550 million of federal monies to help improve the lives of the people of Guam. How much of that money is going to be blocked by AG Moylan?
Oh, it's going to be interesting. Well, here's the thing, right, is I'm very familiar with the procurement law, and it requires us to follow federal requirements first. One of the federal requirements of this grant is that you expend the funds timely. So the law is very clear. If anything in the procurement law conflicts with what the federal requirement is, you have to follow the federal requirement. So look, if he's saying, hey, I'm just under the 5150, I'm not going to do none of this, I'll say, well, we can take it in court, but we're going to move forward anyways because we have to follow the federal requirement.
You didn't answer my question. So how much of this $550 million is going to be blocked by AG Moylan, and how likely is it that the people of Guam who are waiting for this money are going to suffer? How much of this money is going to be blocked between now and May 31st? Because this is a very...
Between now and May 31st, none. But when we start getting into the procurements for the construction, we'll see. Oh, that's good. Right? We'll see. Yeah.
So how do we avoid that? Because, if it is your opinion that Mr. Moylan is unreasonable and won't take your phone calls or won't listen to you, we had a really good conversation with him. I think we can bring you both in a room. And better yet, the governor do it, because again, she's the chief executive, right?
Yeah.
This is all on her. You're doing a great job of whatever you're doing, but she doesn't seem to want to work with him, and that's not okay. He keeps calling for meetings with her in front of the media,
Sure.
and I think we're the media now, especially on a Sunday. So like, share, and subscribe if you'd like us to bring Fernando and Doug Moylan into studio, and then let's just work it out.
I'm always open to talk.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
But thank you for not having it out in between me.
Um,
Somebody had said,
That was
like,
I know that video. You were like falling down.
somebody had said, like, why did they put you in between, like, the last show, so, but
Well,
when
you
you
know,
were talking about hugging, I was like,
yeah.
You
I'm
did
gonna
this whole
hug.
show. I
Yeah.
don't think I heard him cuss one time yet.
I know.
No, I know.
I listen to
Don't
Charlie.
remind
I
him.
listen
Oh,
to
sorry.
Charlie. Yeah.
I thought it was
Well,
maybe
it's
you
good-
tried some of the honey.
And also, if you notice, I agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah.
I just want you to move faster, and I know you're doing it carefully. And you know, a big credit to the governor. I think the way she's managing this really large amount of money, $1.5 billion, it is honorable. The way she's done, it's just too slow.
Yeah.
So, Fernando, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, I have two questions. Okay. You have some of that money. Can some of that money be slated towards teaching our people financial wealth building through land, housing, real estate? Because I think that no matter how, you said there's an
Yes.
expiration date for this money, okay?
Yes.
The likelihood is that maybe 25% will go to waste. Or
No.
expire.
Heck no, not
Are you
under
sure?
my
Okay,
watch.
so they're, it's
Hey,
not
don't
going
make
to be-
it. Don't resign over
Don't
that.
make promises.
Yeah.
No. I got
Okay, you only got
plan
five
A's,
more
Plan
years.
B's, plan C's, plans, and what I'm saying is you have to, right?
Yeah.
You have to know how to navigate this, right? And there's a general rule in the federal government is anything is waiverable, truth be told, right? You have to just know, you have to know what information you're asking for, have to know how to ask for it, right? Federal grant's kind of a whole world on its own. But we have to set clear deadlines, right? If I start thinking that I could get an extension or I start relying on that extension for any of this, I'm already failing,
Yeah.
right? But there are
Because that would be
contingencies.
8 years after Mawar if you fail.
Yeah. You know,
The people that are suffering right now.
I understand.
So let's get out to Swamp Road, you and me, and I'll show you some of the ones you missed. And it's their fault because they don't have a car and their
Yeah.
doors are broken, so they couldn't walk to your workshop. But it is the fault of those 80 people that you hired that maybe they didn't make the effort.
I didn't hire 80 people.
Well, okay, but that's the thing. It was on the front page that there would be 80 jobs.
That have not been hired.
But I'd be happy to drug test all the people you do have, because if any of them are doing ice, and I'm talking to you, just stop. This man is doing a big job. We don't need to be dealing with your selfishness.
No, so Fernando, the question I have here, right, is that you said in the very beginning of your conversation, the biggest problem is getting the people off like housing assistance so that you can get new people on there. We know that over 50% of Guam's population lives at or below the poverty line.
50%.
How are you going to solve that problem so that we can get more people to actually pay for their housing?
Yeah, and part of it is, again, the bigger issue is kind of that physical infrastructure, because there's just nothing in that price range for them to go. GHURA actually for years, it's called the Family Self-Sufficiency Program. We do financial literacy. I've seen single mothers go through this program in public housing. First it's the AA in accounting, then it's the bachelor's, then after some years, boom, they're out on their own, right? I've seen things like simple as GEDs, then to driver's license, then to jobs. Most are seeking home ownership in the future, but that's just mathematically not there, right? And then on the other thing is I see families who, they have to reduce their hours, or somebody is gonna quit working, otherwise.
Because they're making too much.
Because they're gonna make too much and get kicked out, and they're gonna be homeless with their kids.
That cannot happen. That's just
Correct.
It's un-American.
And that's where the local solutions have to come in, because I can't change that federal thing if they're over.
But the government of Guam can step in and make a difference.
Correct, and that's the push is we need local funding to do the things the federal government cannot.
Again, we agree.
We agree, right. And so my proposal in the summit was been like this, like, look, you're about to see the the taxes go up because they're doing the tax assessment, right? Take whatever the difference is, or a portion of that, and just allot it towards, I don't know, housing things. Don't even have to give it to GHURA, but just say, hey, this could be for housing stuff. Because traditionally, property taxes go to these things, right? Whether it's infrastructure or housing. And just look, help us help you. Because I have all these programs, I just don't have the glue to make them work together.
And let's face it, the biggest expense for a lot of people is the infrastructure, getting the water and the sewer and the power in. So that money that whatever is about to be realized should go into infrastructure.
We have some other things.
Like he's been,
I know, I agree. Infrastructure, and that's why the 104 million I'm talking about that. Like you can see it on the map. Say, look, we're not opening new areas of development. The property of build-ready lots, or the value, is up so high because we're not opening new areas of development. That was the whole idea behind the 104 million of infrastructure, is to make Route 15 an economic corridor.
Which is the back road to Anderson.
Which is the back road to Anderson. It already has an easement to become a 5-lane.
Well, okay, so why isn't it a 5-lane yet? Because it has that easement for the last 8 years.
I mean, I don't want to speak for somebody else, but
Go ahead.
I'm fairly confident it's going to be added to the DAR, Defense Access Road.
Okay.
And
You
then
guys
there'll
have
be
been saying
federal-
that for 10 years.
Federal
Since you were a
government doesn't
senator.
move very quickly either.
Well then.
And I didn't say that as a senator. No.
But then.
I didn't know what DAR was back then, yeah.
Okay. The thing is, the government of Guam needs to start doing their own work.
Agreed. I agree.
I have one thing, and I've always said this, that the government of Guam cannot build infrastructure correctly. And that goes especially for the sewer. Right now, you have the sewer that people were forced to use, take out their septic tank, and now the sewer doesn't work. It backs up when it rains, or it's shut down when it rains. And these people have to go jump in the ocean to use a bathroom. And I just feel that you should be able to put in your own system, because I do it here. I mean, there's no sewer here in Telefofo, but I can put in a better infrastructure that works forever without a big expense to me or the government. And why the government cannot do anything right? The whole South should have sewer if that's what slows down development, right? But the government cannot do anything right. That's the problem. And that's why I want Charlie to run for office and look more at privatization of everything. Because our government slows itself down through what has happened so far. Politics, mainly. Selfishness, family connections, you name it. That's my say.
+1 for me.
Well, I think we're moving to the bottom of the hour.
Yes.
And Doc mentioned, we want to do the card game. So
Okay.
Chris may need the.
I don't think she can. Is this about candidates?
Is this about candidates?
Yeah,
Here,
no, she
Chris.
Okay.
And can I go now?
Oh, candidate.
Yes, dear, you
She
can
has
Can I
go.
go now?
She has to dance.
Yeah, we want you to dance.
Ticina. Okay, so I can go now?
Okay.
Yes, you can
Thank
tell
you
people
for.
before you go where they
Yeah,
can-
one more plug
what
for.
you want so they can
We
hear
want
you.
85% participation.
Yes, we want to increase our voter participation. And we want to maybe excel and do more than CNMI's 70%. Register
Hi, Mom.
to vote at gec.guam.gov online, or if you're going to renew your driver's license or your Guam ID, you can also register to vote there. Also, we have a list of volunteer voter registrars on our website. You can we have their numbers up there. You can call them and have them come to you to register to vote. That's gec.guam.gov. And don't forget, most important, show up on Saturday, August 1st, 2026, and Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026.
Where's your office now?
241 Fahrenheit Avenue, Tamuning, right next to Mega Drugs.
Right.
All right. Okay, and we're gonna transition before, and so that you can, somehow we'll just play the song. You can go like this and dance your way off the stage.
Okay.
And then Fernando, maybe you can switch positions.
Sure.
We have
Sure.
one more topic to go over.
Welcome to
Do
our
it
Guam
last
month.
Oh, we got another topic.
Yes,
Yeah.
Are we dancing?
Ready?
Welcome to our Guam
Taza
month.
dancing.
Ahoy!
I'll just grab my drink and just everybody
Really enjoyed having you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that I come alive. From just Pirate Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeff Pleadwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map.
Okay, Charlie,
Guam
get it.
directory coming through. Things with this. Akimoto on the
We're like honeybees with the wiggle dance. We're doing our wiggle dance.
We got the honeybees
Girls
here.
let the real talk run. How good nya to one. Everybody has one. No who's on this ship. No fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the true. Watch the whole place
So we
rise.
have more subjects to
I
talk
don't know.
about?
You know, she's the producer. I thought we covered
She
a lot
took
of
my
ground.
phone, so I don't even know what
Yeah.
time it is.
Can you get one more?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're covering a lot of ground, folks, and apparently we're not yet done, but one more topic.
One more topic.
Go.
One more topic.
Okay, roll it.
There is a software bill that hasn't been paid.
Ooh.
That's no bueno. You know, if you have software companies that are working night and day to try to make your company or your government more efficient, you got to pay these folks because it's so easy to not appreciate the ingenuity, the talent, and the hard work that often happens while you're sleeping. So when the vendor comes forward and says, "Hey, look, you haven't paid me in 3 months," that's not good. And so apparently the Department of Revenue and Tax has strung out DMR, which is Data Management Resources, a Taitano company. So this is a Chamorro family, a local company, and they've been strung out since last year. And this is not the first time this has happened. So DMR has frequently been on the get the wrong end of government procurement because I think this is a procurement issue. And so shame on the Department of Revenue and Tax, shame on Governor of Guam, shame on Josh Tenorio. Everybody knew this was going to happen, and now guess what? It's happening right in the middle of tax season, right? You're making everybody inconvenienced by your buffoonery. You have the money, you budgeted for it. There is nobody else doing it. This affects the ability of people to interact with the government agencies online, which I'm sure makes Charlie just really happy. So that already inefficient Government of Guam, Department of Revenue and Tax, just got more inefficient last night.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder again, like where is the money going? Because I actually went to DRT on Thursday and made a sizable, because I was trying to stand my ground on, no more taxes. I don't want to pay taxes.
Why are we paying taxes?
And so anyway, but I went to make a sizable dent on what I owed, and now it makes you when I saw the report about the systems going down, and you're right. They will do anything they can to be able to sustain the system if the government would pay them.
Right.
And I'm still trying to get the $2.69 back.
Give him his money.
I still want, the government owes me money. They owe me the $2.69. And that could easily be done if the system was upgraded. They said they can. They can do upgrades.
Yeah.
But the government doesn't want to pay for it.
Well, they finally rolled out the property tax.
Finally.
That's a great example. A software problem.
Yes.
How long is that behind, right?
A lot of months. And so people were given a holiday from paying taxes, but that doesn't mean there's a holiday from the workers doing their job. And that's the thing. This failure falls on the shoulders of Lou, Leon, Guerrero, and Josh Tenorio. You're making hard-working Government of Guam employees have to work harder and have to deal with this crap because you fail. Lou, you've been going off island like every frickin' week. Every time we turn around, you're coming back from somewhere else. Can you stay here and do your job? You're collecting taxes from people. You're supposed to pick up abandoned vehicles. You're supposed to pave the roads. That 5-lane highway in Manila to your middle of nowhere medical campus. We agree that there's something that needs to be done there. Build the road. So it's easy for me to get on the road of profanity because this is profound. The failure of Governor Lou Leon Guerrero to do her job is ruining it for Government of Guam employees.
But where is the director of DRT?
She works for Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, who's the former banker.
Let her come out. Why are these directors not transparent? Yes, they're elected or they're handpicked by the governor.
Yeah.
But why are they not being transparent and saying, "Hey, listen, we don't have the money. We can't get the procurement system to give us the money." Like, But right now, what my first step is to go to the director and saying, you're not doing your job.
I think she's a line agency to the Department of Administration, which is under Ed Byrne, whose own procurement of a software system has spectacularly failed. He actually was one of the ones demonizing DMR with their ancient AS400, which at least they had I guess they have the code for, so they can fix things on island, right? When you start going to these proprietary things, they don't care about you. They'll string you out. They'll send their people from Florida to come and tell you something you already know.
DOA is another one.
Well, no, this is the same one. Revenue and tax is under DOA. This whole buffoonery. Again, we can get confused pointing fingers at people that aren't doing their job.
They're separate.
Okay, so you're saying revenue and tax is an autonomous agency?
No.
I disagree.
They're both line agents, but they're not under DOA. They're equal.
Yeah, but the money isn't.
The money, okay, yeah. Thank you for clarifying.
Right.
He's the one guy, and he's not the director. He's the vice director,
Deputy.
the semi, yeah. So he's the semi-director. The dude is showing up on a Sunday. This is the second time he's done it. Marie Taituno or Pangelinan, same. So there are good people in the government doing their job. Can you do your job, Lou? You're making them look bad, because there is really no way around this. You know how important software is. You're a banker. So how is it that your government doesn't pay for the software that you claim is so necessary? It just doesn't make any sense.
We haven't heard any new updates, right? I mean,
No.
So right now it's offline.
Right now, if you go to, let's check.
The website, no, it came up on midnight and
Saturday at midnight.
and it was people at 3 o'clock in the
Oh, so
morning.
Friday at midnight. It was
No,
Friday.
it was Saturday at midnight, and the people on this is coming out on Facebook by citizens. The revenue and tax people did not bring this out.
March 21st. It's dated March 21st, 2026, yesterday.
Yes.
And what people can go and look at right now is you can go to guamtax.com, and there's a notice that tells you exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
So this is where we say, I want my money back.
Yeah.
Why?
Quit paying your taxes.
yeah.
Apparently, we're gonna have a tax holiday in April because
Yeah.
this is what it results in. You shut down the software system a month before taxes are due. Not even a month. It's 3 weeks until April 15th.
Let's keep it down longer.
No.
Yeah, that's when they're gonna get all the money.
Absolutely. How are we supposed to file a GRTs?
You have to go in.
You don't have to. Okay, as a result of pirate
Well,
decree,
I know.
I'm the vice pirate here today. You don't have to pay your taxes. Just check in with him.
Yeah, no, you know what? That's a good question. How are we going to file the GRTs?
No, but so that's the good point. Is
It's
it
not my fault.
manually?
It's not Fernando's
Well,
fault.
I started doing
It's
it
Chris's fault.
manually
Chris,
anyways.
what are we supposed to do?
Because they
He's the
were
territorial
charging us the
entomologist.
pay tax, right, on the credit card. They made that so inconvenient because they want to charge us 2 or 3% to use a credit card doing it online. So now we go in and pay it manually, and
It's crazy.
that's the way of Guam, Manuel.
Because all those forms are online.
Manuel.
No, this has more implications than just the system being down.
Let's
Yeah.
go back to paper. Let's just do paper. Or cuneiform. We can use cuneiform.
Okay, and then there was a resignation as well.
Oh, yes. Zaldi down over at the hospital, I guess managing $125 million in capital improvements, including the roof, the walls, the parking lot, and the electrical system, which keeps bursting into flames, quit. He didn't resign. He quit. He left Dr. Jolene Uggan, the CEO, without somebody to do operations. So she looked around and saw her human resource officer, Jess Kanga, who's apparently a really ethical guy, but probably hasn't ever built even his own house. He's now in charge of trying to rebuild a $300 million hospital that has failed accreditation. Bad choice. There's a lot of people in the world that are more qualified than Jess Kanga to manage that particular hospital. And picking Jess Kanga is the epitome of patronage politics. He's a nice young man. Apparently a lot of people like him. But he, as an ethical human resource person, should have told the governor, I'm not qualified. And this is too important a job to give to me. Particularly when Fernando's sitting there, and no fault to you. I mean, because you're more qualified. I know you're managing a $550 million project, and no one said you weren't qualified to do it, right? But I'm saying Jess Kanga isn't. And let's face it, right? Your brother Charles. I'm sorry. I mean, if there's any other things, but he was given the responsibility at DPW to help GMH do this. The logical thing would have been to put him into that position, because this is the director of operations for the hospital. We need an adult in that position. another great person would have been Linda Banes, the deputy director of DPW, has been putting out fires all over the government. But Jess Kenga, boo on you. You should have been the person to reject your own appointment as director of operations for the hospital. The hospital is too important. You're not good enough. Step down.
Okay, Andrea, let's do our game.
Any comments on that?
There's a lot of people that are commenting throughout the entire show. We have, of course, Johnny Utah, who came in and he asked, can you develop soursop honey? Chris?
Soursop honey.
Maybe that may be dedicated to Jeff or you, soursop honey, because he just bought Melaleuca honey, so.
Oh, so how about Sakati honey?
Sakati.
Yeah.
Does it have a flower?
We also have
Tell him it's a superfood.
Dave Duenas says he's especially encouraging young voters to come out and vote. I know that was earlier on in the show, so that's really good. And then we have Eddie Cruz, and he says a bunch of comments, but he said Guam should have passed a law requiring citizens 18 years old to register as a voter when they signed up for the selective service, which that
I
might
feel
be.
like I did that.
Right.
I think like you have to do that.
But that's selective service, so what I think
Sign up for the vote.
Well, I don't know.
we have to double check it.
I don't think we should force people. We should convince them. But I mean,
Pacific Brown, he or she left a long comment. People are tired of voting because nothing ever feels different. It's the same names and the same faces every cycle. That wears people down. But when fresh voices step up, something shifts and hope comes back. And I believe Bennett Lujan Duenas said you should run again, Fernando. Should run
Thank you,
one more
Auntie
time.
Bennett. I'm honored. It was a hard time there. You know what I mean? Because I was the young guy, the new guy. I didn't have a big political name. I might have had ideas, but I got told a lot of times like, no, it's not. We're not gonna.
Calm down, boy.
Calm down, boy. Like,
do this, and then you can do it. You can go consider it. No, this 550 million. It's going to change Guam.
Yes, absolutely.
And then we have, Bistro came in as well.
Hey,
Eddie
Bistro.
Cruz. Bistro says the problem with ADU law is that it allows the build out only on R1 zoning lots. A lot of our houses are built on agricultural zone lots. This needs to change.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
But the first thing is you got to get that law in there, right? It's a little easier to amend once it's there, and once they know there's money available to support it.
Yeah.
See that?
Frank, Tony, all you senators out there, don't sit on your hands. If you want to be governor, make changes now.
Sure. And finally, Eddie Cruz again and Joseph Ariola has really appreciated Maria Pangelinan's leadership. And Eddie Cruz, I guess this is a great place to end. Swamp Road is the ghetto and is a disaster. These people need help.
Yeah, move them out of there.
All right. Now on to the show. Everybody who is watching along with us for this
Just one quick.
Oh, and Charlie,
just
go ahead.
Tribute to Chuck Norris passed away. So
Adios, Chuck.
yeah.
That's
Honorary
not
Marine.
true.
He was an honorary Marine.
It's not true.
That can't be true because Chuck Norris could never die. He lives forever, marked on the side of every porta-john in the country and the Middle East. He is a legend.
Yes.
Hey, Chuck. We'll
Rest
see you in
peace.
heaven.
Rest in
We'll
peace.
see you in heaven.
Rest in peace.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, so everybody watching along with us, you can go to hafahour.com and vote. Give your +1 or -1 to any of the gubernatorial candidates that are listed on the website. The rules of the game are very simple. We're judging on this current events this week. You award or you give a demerit to any of the candidates, +1 or -1, and explain why you're doing that. We can start with Charlie, and then.
Okay. My +1. Oh no, also my -1 is actually going to Frank and Mary.
Hey.
And reason being is because we haven't really seen too much out of from their initial. I know they've been doing a lot of planning, a lot of meeting with folks, but one of the things that the people want to be able to listen to is the platform, and that's very important. Haven't really seen anything come out. And so that is why they're getting my -1 this week. My +1 would have to go back to something that I missed last week, and I do have to give credit to Tony and EJ for putting out a platform. I'm reading through it, trying to understand it, but the +1 really just comes out to the fact that they were able to put something out ahead of everybody else, and for people to read, but don't know if I completely agree with the platform, so they may get a -1 next week, so depending on how that works.
I got a +1 for Tony and EJ, but mainly for Tony, because like me, I think if we were worker bees in a hive, we would be undertaker bees, and I'm not sure if that's the technical term for it, but there are bees in a hive that their job is to identify the sick people or sick bees, try to help them, but if they're infected, we're supposed to kick them out. And then if there's a dead bee, we're supposed to kick him out. So, obviously Tony runs a funeral parlor, and so he's an undertaker. And then, if I was a worker bee, I'd probably be working with Tony. And then my negative one is to Senator Joe St. Augustine and, by extension, Santa Claus. I mean, Senator St. Augustine, I don't know if you know this, but you have a job. You're a senator. So you can run for governor and tell us what you're going to do when you're the governor, when you're a leader. But right now, you're supposed to be a leader in the legislature, and we haven't seen you do anything since the last time you tried to lower taxes on cigarettes. So and it was lowering taxes on cigarettes. So that's not necessarily helping the government of Guam. And then you used to work at Revenue and Tax. It's your software system that's gone down, and you didn't warn the people. You haven't been a vocal leader in that regard. And then finally, we're going through a budget hearing, and I think you were in charge of the last budget cycle when you were the Democratic majority, and you really should be warning people that this is going to be a brutal process. And the fact that when you were in charge of the budget, you didn't give GHURA any local funding. They've had to be working with federal funds the whole time, and you know how important the work they do is. And the same, all these brilliant ideas we're having about helping the middle class by using local funds with this $1.5 billion budget, you could have brought it up. So again, if you want to be the governor of Guam, I'm not giving you a pass to wait until next year. You need to, in this next 9 months, and especially in these next 9 weeks that we're having a budget, be a leader. Otherwise, just quit.
You're up.
Right. My +1 this week is going to Charlie and Jeff. Thank you for having me. But, I think it's important, because personally, I think it's important to bring up the discussion of independent candidates. I've talked to a lot who've run, who've won, who, have shared that they would have ended up running independent. And I think it's important to have that somewhat disruptor in there. Right, but in a good way, not necessarily just causing mayhem, but that disruptor to where now you really have to be deliberate, right? And you can always ensure that if brother and sister is fighting, there's always going to be an adult in the room to kind of get things back on track, right? We don't fall into situations where we're potentially going to lose $104 million in infrastructure because of hurt feelings and whatever the case may be.
Personal stuff.
Yeah, personal stuff or family drama or history, whatever the case may be. So thank you guys, gentlemen, for keeping the discussion up and going, and maybe being the front runners of the independent party of Guam, right? Good. And for minus, man, again, is he right? He still has a car here, and it's a little crazy here. Right.
Who's that?
Well
Marcelo?
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I like you, Marcel, but I don't know what's going on.
Well, how do we know he's even in there?
Yeah.
Maybe he's not.
We're going to have to delete him from the discussion.
If you're still running, blink 3 times. We'll take that as a yes.
Okay, Chris, you're up.
All right, so my +1 is going to be with Senator Tony Ada and EJ Calvo. particularly with Senator Tony Ada. I know we've had this invasive species act that we've currently been having, that we had for many years, and there's been a lot of conflict between Port Users Group and the Guam Invasive Species Council as to how fees need to be assessed. And I really want to give a shout out to Senator Tony Ada for really working with both parties. You know, as a government official, you know, I feel like it's important to work both with industry, but also applying science into some of these policies. And I really feel like Senator Tony Ada, working with our director, Chelsea Munya, and as well as myself, to help find that balance between working with the industry as well as continuing to protect the island. And so we are hoping that within the next couple of months that we actually have a bill that would be enacted to help, again, find that middle ground between, again, protecting our islands and as well as working with industries who are actually, again, paying this cost, this invasive species and inspection fee cost to that's, you know, that does drive the cost of living on Guam really high. So at the same time, we also want to protect our island. So that's really been the big part of why I feel like this is a big +1 for me. I guess my -1 is gonna be San Augustine and San Nicolas, particularly because, well, there were some things that I've had questions and in bills that were introduced by, particularly in San Nicolas. I think the fireworks bill was kind of a big hit because we, you know, yes, I know we want to celebrate Guam, but we also have to do it in a way where there's we protect you know, public safety as well as protecting the environment, and fireworks generally. I think there's got to be a better way of being able to apply some of the safety behind fireworks is a big thing. And you know, to me, Guam has seen enough forest fires, which forest fires are, you know, they are, you know, they do start with people and not naturally in the environment. So I think adding that bill was kind of a big blow to the people who do care for the ecosystem, for the environment. And I guess I haven't really seen much, as was stated, I haven't seen much really coming out from Senator San Augustine. So I think those are the two things, my reason why. So good job.
You know, Christopher, people have said, Pacific Ground says, this episode truly stands out as one of the best yet. Earlier episodes focus more on political themes, which is intended purpose. However, it's uplifting to see and feature authentic stories and genuine moments that inspire and elevate people. So they're very thankful that you're on board.
Is that your mom?
Thank you. I'm not sure.
What I love about that also is that even if you have everybody has a story, a passion, and very well educated, but you also have an interest in politics too, because what's happening in politics is affecting your actual profession.
Oh yes, yeah. I guess to really really hit on that. You know, I've grown up with my grandmother. She was in the political realm. She did all the rallies. I followed her through, and really I want to stress that, you know, my grandma has always been, well, son, you're always gonna have to play the game. And I told her, I was like, I don't like playing the games. But really in the job field that I have, to really leverage what you want to see the changes on Guam, sometimes you have to be in that political realm. And you know, and I find myself in that, and I'm still slowly accepting that and kind of, you know, picking and choosing really who can really help make those differences. And really, so yeah, I didn't expect this to be a podcast that we would talk politics, but But again, my big
Surprise!
perspective, you know, and I am new to this whole political realm, and really, I know we all have objectives, but I really, in the very end, it's how is it gonna, those objectives how are they gonna really help the people of Guam? Yeah.
As our private citizens have a responsibility to our own self-interest, a reflection of change, right?
Yeah.
So Jeff, you're up, sir.
Okay, my +1 is for me and Charlie, where I'm backwards here. Oh, you got me on both sides. Charlie, let's start cooking it up. Let's work on a platform. Like he says, independent is much more progressive and much more idealistic, but it would be much better for the island. I don't see any of these candidates making any difference at all that's going to get better. And my -1 is for Josh and Teeny Weeny. And that's just because Josh hasn't got rid of the cars. He's supposed to be in charge of beautification. He's been mum. And right now, we need to do something with the GVB to start making tourism better for everybody, including the residents. That's it.
Okay, some final announcements. Jeff, Easter's coming up.
Easter's coming up, and we have a breakfast buffet. It's only $30. It's on April 5th, of course, that's Easter. And we would love to have you all come here. It's going to be a great breakfast and a brunch, and come on down.
Okay, Doc, do you have any updates?
Yeah, you know, for all those of you who might be uncomfortable with us being so either profane or maybe so, I guess, passionate about your government, our government, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because the whole world is changing. We are at war. The price of gas is $6, and everything matters. In order for us to really become, I think, a better place to live, because I think we are a good place, but there are people getting priced out of paradise. There are people that don't have a home. We need to shed our skin. We need to shed our exoskeletons that have maybe confined us into a certain type of existence. And just like a worker bee, we need to shed our exoskeleton, become an adult worker bee, and be more useful and altruistic. You know, for a bee colony and our government of Guam to be successful, our community, everyone needs to be competent and selfless. We can't tolerate people that are selfish and self-centered, that only look out for themselves. You know, the hive, the community is bigger than you. And so if we can, you know, follow the lead of our territorial entomologist, we should, you know, be like a bee and buzz out of here.
Okay, Doc, very nicely said.
Nicely said. Yeah.
Charlie and Fernando, everybody.
How's he gonna top that?
I mean, well,
Yeah,
Yeah, he's got his good
I
notes
got
over
my
there.
notebook. Yeah, it's my 3rd grade notebook.
No,
What do you want?
I mean, the only thing I would like to say is, and I will have to plug something that, you know, obviously, but getting into the out of my comfort zone and going into the food and beverage business has really given me a different perspective on a whole completely different community, and that's the folks that, you know, only have money to spend for that one meal a week, or come in to buy a cup of coffee, or being able to go out there and having the opportunity to talk to them as well has been, I mean, overwhelming. And to me, that's been a thing. But also the workers. I mean, I think everybody wants to do well, and we want to be able to promote the fact that if you work hard, you should be rewarded. And that's, I think, overall. And you know, I'm knee deep. You know, I'm trying to help in the kitchen. I'm trying to help on the floor, and just firsthand, it's not easy. Jeff, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, you know.
Well, I feel sorry for you because, yeah, I grew up, you know, I worked in the restaurant business for years and years before I took over this place from Jesus Palomo Cruz. And, you know, I'm ready to help you anytime, okay?
And I appreciate it. But it's really given me a whole completely different perspective on different communities. And that's been really, you know, heartwarming to really see the whole dynamics of both sides of the island, and I think we need to continue to be able to somehow find a way to put more money into the people's pocket.
I'm calling for a cost of living adjustment
we need
for
to-
private sector.
And it's not just because, from a business perspective, but, a lot of folks need to have the opportunity to go out and have that one meal with their families. It's gonna be able to be rewarding for them, but if we price them out, or if they don't have the means to be able to do it, that's the issue that's my take, in the last couple of weeks. It's been really, it's been really great to be part of it, so.
But let's operationalize it. Those of you out there that know a senator or a gubernatorial candidate, they need to suspend all taxes. Give everybody a tax holiday. No more taxes. April 15th, don't pay your taxes. The software is done.
Oh, no.
No more taxes.
No, another plug.
Give the people their money back.
Roll back BPT 3%, emergency
Roll back.
suspension, roll it back to 3%.
No more taxes.
6 months to a year, suspend the BPT, give it to a 3%, or roll it back to 3%. That will allow us to be able to survive.
I want to see an excise sales tax over the counter visible.
Right.
The tax holiday,
right now.
pirate rules.
Prices are going up. We're starting to see a lot of things going up. We need that 3% right now. They need to act right now. They can't wait until everything's freaking
That's the
falling
thing.
off the cliff.
We have hope on the way, but it's going to take time because it's federal money. Local government can act now.
Yes.
Next week in studio is Josh Tenorio and Tina Munoz Barnes. We're really happy they're going to be able to make it, and we will provide a friendly, conducive environment for them to give you their message. Like, share, and subscribe us, and tell your friends and neighbors the next week's show. It's going to be tough to top this, but we're going to try our best. But we do welcome Josh and Tina to come into studio to Jeff's bedroom to tell their story to the people of Guam.
Absolutely.
All right, as we close out this show, we're going to be playing the song in the background, and we're going to get these guys to dance, because that's why everybody comes to watch the show, is to see you dance at the end.
That and his crotch.
They
look at his
from the
crotch.
internet. Dancing.
No.
And just as a
no.
thank
Going.
you, to shout out to all the people who have been with us for these couple hours, Bennett Duenas,
Okay, rock and roll.
Dave, Anthony.
Yes.
Now we're
And
rocking and rolling.
Those
Thank
of
you,
you at the
Maria.
restaurant waiting to eat with Charlie. He's coming. Charlie's coming.
And Dave's outside. Make sure you sign his petition.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we're going to play the music and let it roll out.
Thank you, Miss Producer, for making us look good.
That's a really good movie from Netflix.
The Beekeeper.
Never seen that action movie.
Yeah.
Come on, go
Do the beat.
Are we gonna go? Is that gonna work? It'll be empty. We're gonna go back.
We already suffered through application. You don't need to see me watch it.
Your mom's gonna be so happy.
Thank you very much, Christopher.
We see ya. I thought you should. Thanks, Chris. Thank you. Good game.
Okay.
Good game. She wants to do some stuff with you. She wants to do an Instagram thing with you.
They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you. Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this day.
We don't pay.
This is a long song, you know.
Yes, it's 5 minutes.
5 minus.
No one's counting.
Hey. How many viewers you got watching? How many are watching?
I was thinking about our conversation the other day.
Yeah, they can't miss it.
Last week we fell off a little.
We'll blame it on the rain.
Blame it on the Bossa Nova. Okay, all right.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Man.
Thanks, Andrea. Thank you.
Thanks, Diggs. They're in London. Hope it's not raining.
Put it down
anywhere you go.
We'll try. You know, They don't do this to Oprah. Does Oprah have to dance at the end of her show?
No. This is Andrea's project.
It's all right. Time to go.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And each story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
Ready or not, we're coming. Guam, stand up, keep running. Ready or not, we're coming. Under these lights, we decide.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. Guam.
Unfiltered. Live from Jeff's Pirate's Cove.
Live from Jeff's Pirate's Cove.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. I duck out under these lights. Hafa Hour, Singapore, real talk, full report. Ready or not, here we come. You can't hide when the drums hit drum. Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. Ready or not, we're coming. Guam, stand up, keep running.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. A-D-A-C-A-L-D-O. Hafa Hour S2E35.
Real talk, full report.
Ready or not, here we come.
You can't hide when the drums hit
Allow
down.
us to reintroduce ourselves. Guam decides.
This
I'll make you proud, Grandma. Promise. That's better. Okay, we're done.
The proper sequence.
Sir, please wait here.
I need you to stay by the car.
Okay, I got it.
Just tell me what happened.
Has been breached. Confirmed reports of multiple attacks in the capital.
Please, we're now in a state of alert.
Go!
Come on in.
Yes. But I didn't.
Details emerging of a major political scandal shaking the island.
But I didn't expect it here. Where else would it be?
Only thing
Hey everyone, how's it going?
We're ready to get started.
It took just 24 hours for us to lose control of the city. Tonight, Gotham's relying on command
Take a deep breath. Can you tell me exactly what happened?
We were outside the outlets when someone tried to.
Under these statutes, you don't have the authority.
Responsible gun ownership is the law. Coming from that appellate.
Now,
Before they realize what we know.
I understand the.
And I'm Tony. The countdown.
It's a beautiful note.
We go around this town.
See you there.
Here.
Welcome to Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye! Over a diagram, here that I come alive. From just Pirate Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeff Pleadwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our start up loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Leaning close, let the real talk run. Ha good nya tutu mon, everybody has one. No whoosh on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the true, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it don't feel free. Guam sauce for true seeker, yeah we deliver. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam Unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya tutumon, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Unfiltered. White ladies breach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gadao and Matapang, strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah we deliver it. Tune into Hafa Hour Guam. Welcome to